But that's like Gen X mentality where it's like, I'll fucking stab people in the back to the top, you know? I think that's what Gen Xers do, you know?
They steal, they stab.
Well, they just like, it's like, you know, I'll do whatever the fuck it takes.
Yeah. So, but do you think that that's like, it's when you say Gen Xers, do you think it's like TikTok people, like people who are like, when I say TikTok
It's
people,
right
even,
after...
I mean like you're chasing followers. Like it's all about clout. It's all about attention. Everything you're doing. I mean, like a good example of this. It's like the meme type of person that'll come around. They're like a living meme. I'm from Flint, Michigan. Shout out Long Neck, if we remember Long Neck. You remember him?
You're from Flint. No, who's? Oh, the meme. Yeah.
He's still out here. He's still posting. He's still doing it. But he's like dude, he got a kid and he's got a kid and this is his life now.
Yeah.
And he's still posting like videos where it's like a prostitute essentially licking his neck and he's like, yeah, get it, girl. Get it, girl. Like, this is his content. It hasn't changed for the last 5 years. You know, but it's just like, you can tell that kind of guy, like, he is not thinking about nothing but, like, hey, how are we going to keep this train rolling? He's not worried about, like, the quality of his content. He doesn't give a fuck, dude.
You know what's hilarious, like, coming from another artist is, like, when you make something like a song or a movie, you're like, I want to, like, make this image whatever the most, right?
Yeah, you want to you want to translate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how creepy white dudes translate it on accident perfectly because they always take that selfie with the worst lighting.
Yeah.
In a horrible undershirt. Dude, I got a hilarious... I knew a guy in high school who he ended up... This is so weird. He was... He was a juggalo.
Okay.
And he also was super proud to be German because he thought he's the superior race. And that's why he was a juggalo.
Oh.
And he's like
By the way, folks, let me just say, those don't normally line up like that. I said 3 minutes ago, I gave him 20 minutes he would lay like that. 3. Oscar got up in 3 minutes. Let's see what he's going to lay on the cushion. All right. But anyway, let me just defend the juggalos and say they're classified as a gang, which is not cool. They're not.
And this is only this one guy that is thinking this way because he's delusional.
I just want to put that out there, but continue.
And I guess he went to jail. And that's how all his Facebook photos were, like the selfies with the bad lighting. Like,
what a combo,
you know?
And he's just got bad lighting. You mean like, but is he dressed up like his face paint like a juggalo, wearing what, like German garb or something?
No, he was just he looked like the Mad Magazine mascot, and just a pimply white dude. And
oh, I see.
The funny thing about him is, like, you know, because in comedy you deal with rejection. He couldn't deal with rejection more because he would post this shit on Facebook and get upset like, yo, remember how we used to mop back in the can? Yeah. And it would just be like some dude, like it would be a picture of him holding a stick on his shirt, mopping his floor in his apartment. Like, it was going to relate to that, you know? And then the crazy thing is because... Here's the other thing. He would complain like, you know, this is a post to all the motherfuckers out there who didn't wish me a happy birthday. I'm like, dude, you just got out of prison and you're upset about not wish. And then he offed himself. So I was like, that's what it took, man. You were a messed up juggalo. You went to prison, but all it took was not wishing you a happy birthday on Facebook. That's how you destroy the. I
mean, even you know. Even as like a final goodbye, like final thing to get upset about, bad choice, you know. I'm just thinking about it, like, because he's probably just so crazy and upset, of course, that's like the thing he's elevating to the final thing. But it's like, bro, like, there's so many better things. Like I've thought, like, if you ever think like, how should I die? Like, not how could I die? how should I die?
Yeah.
Like, oh, people didn't wish me happy birthday. That's
Yeah.
like the shittiest fucking answer you could possibly have.
Yeah.
You go to heaven or whatever. And
Yeah.
you try to tell them.
Like you'd think that would be for a 10-year-old, not for a 30-year-old
A 10-year-old, exactly.
racist juggalo in prison.
In his heart, he's still 10, you know. In his
Yeah.
heart, he's always been 10.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like that is the emotional intelligence of a 10-year-old, the racist juggalo.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's just such a combo. Like, even at the gathering of the juggalos, that person would be so rejected by everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no one would want to hang out with
So
him.
what do you guys think of blacks, right? And then crickets, you know, like
They're like, we're just here for the music, bro.
dude, from working in like so many factories and shit.
Yeah.
It was so goofy to me that was like the conversation starter for white dudes. Like, what do you think of whatever, insert race? What do you think of Eskimos, man? Like that was because we had nothing in common. And you know what's funny is that I made a racist guy actually go like quit because I blew his fucking mind.
Okay.
Because I was working at a family business. It was my first welding job. It was fun as fuck. It was all art welding. Like artistic, so it was like custom railings. So like if you wanted like a vine of roses up your stair railing, we had to like blowtorch it and blacksmith it and stuff. It was the coolest fucking. So we actually made a mega pogo stick out of a car shock. Made you go up 10 feet in air. But anyways, so we had this guy. My boss was like, "Yo, we got to hire a third person to be like a bitch, you know, like to just carry shit." And we were sitting in the car, the three of us, and he goes, he was just going through the race. He's like, "Yes, what do you guys think of black?" I'm like,
Just going through like multiple just checks.
yeah. And I'm just fucking with him. I'm like, I like the good ones. Yeah, just like whatever. And then he keeps going. And
Good
then,
answer, by the way.
And then, yeah. And then finally he like he keeps getting rejected. And it was this hick from North Carolina. Finally he goes, "What do you think about Jews?" You know? And I go, "Aren't you Christian, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I am. I wouldn't be." I'm like, "Well, you've been getting on your knees for like 10 years. And he didn't know that. So he just didn't show up to work ever again. I blew his mind, letting him know the origins of Jesus, you know? But that's the kind of, it goes with my, see, and that, you know what, that kind of explains where my humor comes from, is just a parody of like all these stupid blue collar people that I've been exposed to, you know, and kind of getting out of that. But
Well, a parody in what way?
a parody in like, to me, like for example, like, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with the show All in the Family, but people used to watch, it was like a really racist 70s show, and people used to watch it because it was like all these race jokes back and forth between a white guy and a black guy in like that are neighbors. To me, it's funny that it's not funny anymore. Like that it's such it's a meme, you know?
Okay.
Like you need something new. Like I can't explain it. It's like this.
I think I understand.
The basics, like for example, you know, me growing up, I got called a dumb Polak every day, and it was always the dumb jokes, right?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, get some new material. That like Ross Dress for Less is our shit. That's some new material.
Well,
Like that, I can tell that you got your Pumas from Ross Dress for Less because they're size 17. You know, like some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you got high class brands, but you could tell where the flaw is, that you got it liquidated.
Well,
from.
it'd be like a good roast joke, right? Like a bad roast joke is kind of like a basic, like anybody could say that, and a good roast joke is more specific. It's kind of the same, because like, I mean, I feel like with what you're saying, it's just, as an audience, I imagine it would get like, I think what you're doing, you'd have to distinguish what you're doing in a way that is definitive enough to where an audience wouldn't get confused, right? Because say like you present that to an audience, but they don't understand that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think then they would get the sense that you're being literal. Like, oh, this is actually who he is.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
really
yeah.
you're trying to present this idea like you just laid out, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with like anything that gets real artsy, because now you have to figure out how to translate it to the audience in a way they're actually gonna get it. Like that's always my like fucking I'm always feel like they didn't fully get it. I'm always trying to think like I'm actually with the roast battle thing, I'm impressed with how much an audience remembers, because it's just callbacks. Audiences remember a lot of shit. That's one thing I learned recently. If you bring shit up that they would remember, they almost always actually remember it. So that's cool. But yeah, it's just like wrangling with an audience, because like I'm going up and I'm doing like because are you saying like you're almost saying racist shit?
I was just using that as an example. That's not my material anymore. I mean,
just imagine like 30 minutes of like
I'm saying like
and the whites. Oh my god.
I'm saying like well even the white. It's like I guess March was my third year.
Yeah.
And my biggest value in people is authenticity. Like if I can immediately tell you're full of shit, I can't even be around you. Like I can, and so that translates to everything. Like even whether it's jokes, whether it's music, and with jokes, it's sort of like for example, if you're gonna do something like race, that's what every open micer does. That's what I did. But it's like low hanging fruit.
Right.
Like find something fucking new about it.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is if you're gonna do that and you have this grand idea of what it's I'm doing it, but I'm doing it different. You have to do it so distinctively that an audience is gonna understand exactly what you're doing. Because otherwise, you just sound like the guy trying to say the racist shit. Yeah. That's the problem with all of that. Is like you have to do it really well if you actually want to do that. And nobody is doing it really well. I mean, 5% maybe 5% of people. Yeah.
Also, you got to find what your thing is. Like, there's always people saying like, what's your comedy advice? Whatever, Like, who the fuck am I to say it in 3 years? But
right. I mean, songwriting is the same. Like, how the fuck do you give people advice for some things?
But it's gotta be you. That's how you find your voice. It's gotta be because it's like obviously you're gonna see. You know what I found out that's kind of funny is like So I stopped playing music in bands because I can't deal with people. Musicians are maybe not in rap, but in everything else, they're the biggest bitches. They're so sensitive. They're so like, I wrote this thing about my girlfriend who she got all my money from the divorce, and then the song sounds like SpongeBob B music. You know what I mean? It's like it's so sentimental, but it sounds like shit.
I think there's a subconscious reason I gravitate towards comedians, and I think you kind of laid it out for me.
and what's funny about that is that you subconsciously project your feelings. And so what I was gonna say is like I was in a hippie psychedelic band called Croll-Klex, and it means something in Polish. But point is that I started writing because it was like every album was a diary of what I was going through in that life.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, I remember what that felt like, And it comes out through your writing.
Oh yeah.
And so what's funny is like when you do comedy or when you rap, you're like, you could tell when you're at your voice because this is like, oh, this is you. This is who you are. Right. Like I had a lot of people, I didn't even think about this. Like I grew up in a whole house full of migrants, and my mom actually ran a sweatshop. And people are like, why the fuck aren't you talking about that on stage? Why aren't you talking about being Polish with a sweatshop? And I'm like, I don't know, because it was annoying to have 20 sewing machines going off when you're waking up. Like, I don't know. Like I never really thought about going into, and that's what I'm trying to lean into this year is kind of the longer form, like 10-minute bits where I'm trying to get to the point where I could be like a feature, but. Well,
and that's because it's so weird learning all these things about comedy from the outside looking in, because I'm always learning bits and pieces at a time from like different comics I'll talk to. Yeah. Like recently I just figured out, so 20 minutes and 30 minutes, that's like such a fucking different thing than 5 minutes. I think even 5 to 10 minutes is such a different thing.
Yeah.
Because you start to have to fill time differently. Like the way that you think about structuring a set is different now. Yeah. If you're a good comic, it's like now 20 minutes, you start to segment things differently, and you start to now I can get away with a dark story 10 minutes in, because I already won the crowd over in these last 8 minutes, they're going to be with me for this dark story. But if I just did a 5-minute open mic or a 5-minute feature or whatever, and I just throw this dark story at you, no matter how funny I make it, it's just kind of weird because I just gave you this dark shit out of nowhere. You have to win them over first. And so that's what you can do with 15 minutes. You can't do that with 5.
Well, what's funny, it's funny you mentioned that, because like when I was talking about like you got to find yourself, part of finding myself was I had a person, I forgot who it was, but they told me, they're like, Phil, you look like a fucking douchebag. So you have to let people know that you're okay with being that. Like you have to let, and that you got vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, so I used to do like say it was you know, most shows you get like 8 to 12 minutes, right? For my level, whatever. I wouldn't mind doing the first 3 minutes just shitting on me, shitting on how I look, shitting on how I think, and then you get them. And then I got to a point where somebody told me, they're like, isn't that kind of cheating? I'm like, dude, if you paid for a ticket, I'll fucking do 12 minutes of shitting on me if it makes you laugh. I'll pull out my nutsack if it makes you laugh, because I'm getting your money's worth, you know? And so like, I got used to that, is that I got used to writing a lot of, and I don't even care. Some people, you know, there's comedians that'll call shit hack.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, every person I ever heard call something hack does hacky jokes.
Well, it's, yeah.
And it also, like, coming from the metal scene, you sound like somebody who goes, you're a poser.
Right.
I'm like, dude, I'm not in high school anymore. I don't fucking care, you know?
I always say that I do my best to not be a hater, because I just think things aren't for me. That's the way I try to look at anything I don't like. It's just not made for me, because there's so much shit that like I could call bad. I could say I think that's wrong, but who am I to say it's wrong if it is successful, right? Because there's so much shit that I could just say, oh, there's nothing, like, I hate that. There's nothing good about it, especially with music. Like, I know what I like, but that I have to remind myself, oh, I know what I like, and I just don't like that, and that's okay. I don't have to like that. But like, if I were to go on a tirade and say, oh, well, this is shit and this is shit, at a certain point, I just look like an asshole. Like, I don't actually sound like I'm contributing anything.
I'm working on that.
It's so hard, dude. Because I used to be a lot more of a hater, and I think I've just had a religious, you know, something happened along the way.
Well, I think it's the art thing, because like, as a person, there's I do have humility, I do have empathy. I do try to. I actually was going to be a motivational speaker, you know, before
I think I could pull that off. That's a fun one, right?
Yeah. And I actually, because I mentioned this on every pie. I had my whole family died off in 2020, 5 people in a row.
Holy shit, dude.
So I was going to go and do, like, because it was lockdown, I'm like, I don't got a job. I wanted to do like anti-bullying speeches and be like, yo, bitch, this is what I went through. You can make it. I contacted like 40 high schools. They're like, we don't have a bullying problem. Bullshit, bro. Then I need to come there and be the bully because I look like one.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. I mean, obviously, they're just saying that, but like, I have to imagine they like took offense to you trying. That's surprising. Like they sounded like they didn't want you to. Like, what was it like?
You know what? I think it's like a political thing where like
that's what I was thinking.
Where it's like you know when unions, they work with the businesses they work with.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, if I was in whatever, a welding union, and I'm like, oh hey, you know, I need my car interior done. I'm not gonna go to the nearest shop. I'm gonna go to the guys who are union proud 40 miles away. So I think it was like these schools, they had their speakers that they were comfortable with, that they have a deal with. That they're like, you know, fuck you, like we're not gonna have somebody new here and take a risk.
You could probably, I mean, like the next best thing is like social media. You could just go on social media, like, this video is for kids, you know, and then just go for them.
But I was saying that I think it's an artist thing, because I'm the most hypocritical Taoist. Like, this is yin and yang on my hands.
Okay.
And the number one rule of Taoism is be kind and non-judgment. But as an artist, you kind of have to have judgment to know what your favorite artists are, what your favorite comedians are, what your favorite musicians are. And that is what turns you into a hater.
I think it's a balance, though. I mean, I don't know much about Daoism. I know about Zen Buddhism. I consider myself a Zen Buddhist. Like, when I discovered Zen Buddhism, I was like, oh my God, this is already where my brain is. So, but in that sense, I think it's like the balance, right? Because that's what Zen Buddhism is trying to say. It's like there is the self that defines things, that separates things, that makes things, that is the essence of survival. You need it. You need to be distinctive and to understand and distinguish. That's how you survive, and you know what is good and what is bad, and when to throw something out, and when to get rid of a friend, and when someone's gonna do, when you sense that something, when your spidey senses go off. You need all that shit. That's all like your human senses that you have that other animals probably don't have. But then there's the other side of that where it's like just experiencing and just being okay with everything and letting go of all that, because being in the moment right now is kind of separate from all of that. That's kind of a whole different thing, and that's what they're trying to say. And so like I feel like when I see things and I don't like them, it's just like I could be anybody. I could be somebody who likes this thing. I could literally, but I'm just me. But I could be somebody who likes this. And so really what I'd rather do is ask questions to people who actually like it. There's usually things about it that are cool, like anime. I do not fuck with anime. I just can't. I cannot. People will recommend anime to me. I'll try to watch it. It's just boring. I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is. But I think it's cool when people like tell me about the animes and like, oh, yo, no, you don't understand, dude. And they'll have all this information. I just can't fucking watch it myself and enjoy it.
Do you have like a top 3 unpopular opinions that you got?
Top 3 unpopular in life?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go first, because I don't know if I don't want to like do crazy shit and then have yours suck. You know?
no, I don't care, dude. Like I
don't know, like
I have like
that's a good question.
So I actually like believe in zodiac personalities. I believe in that shit.
Okay.
I don't believe in like that daily astrology shit, but I do believe that certain person like this is the way I looked at it. So this is really funny. Like I kind of say this on stage that I was raised by a single mom. So, I don't know, did you ever have that 600-minute reading challenge? Do you remember that shit?
That sounds familiar. Like, I think that's something I've heard of when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, like they made you read 600 minutes and then you get a free ticket to Six Flags. But you got to get it signed off by people seeing you read. So
remember that.
So being in a single mom home, I read like 600 minutes of like daily Aquarius of her books because she was divorced and lost. So she just bought all these Aquarius books. But what I noticed is I was like, you know what it's like is like if you look for it, it's there. You know when people are like, if you look for this celebrity's dirt, you'll find it.
Right.
For me, it was like, and it's kind of a mild OCD thing too, where I'm like, all my best friends have been like Virgos, Libras, and like other Gemini. Why is that?
Okay,
you know?
But if you think that if you look for it, it's there, then what makes that separate from a horoscope or from a fortune cookie?
Well, zodiac, yeah, that's the same thing as a horoscope. It's the same thing as horoscope.
But that's what I mean. So, like, how is... Well, not necessarily. Because, like, the whole thing with, like, oh, these people are like this and these people are like this... I think there might be some merit to that. Like a Gemini is different than a Libra is different than a Sagittarius that's different than whatever the fuck. So all those are different.
Yeah.
I agree with that probably because if you're born at a certain point in the year, yeah, maybe you act different. That makes sense. And maybe the stars have something to do with it. Maybe.
You know what? My delusional mind, I coincided it with like what goes on during that time of the year.
And that makes sense. Like in my mind, in my logical mind, that makes sense.
Like to me, it's like okay, like Leo is like right before Virgo, right? And they're at the peak of the summer. Mm-hmm. So it's like all Leos are proud as fuck. I'm the fucking party right here. I'm the king.
Wow,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Virgo are kind of like self-hating and super judgmental. It's like we're at the end of summer, like shit's kind of dying down. You know, like, I don't know. That's I
think that makes more sense than saying it's the stars. Like, truly. So that makes sense to me. But then you get into horoscopes, and that's like anybody could write a horoscope. Anybody could just say, oh, these guys are gonna feel this today. Mm-hmm. So like I think when you read a horoscope and you think it means something, that's definitely your suspension of disbelief, right? It's like me accepting in these circumstances that this will align to me. I think just because it's like the power of the human mind, I want to believe this, so I will believe it.
Yeah.
So like that's what And then you get into,
I am
like
self-aware of that.
Stones mean shit. Stones have energy. It's all the same, where it's like,
it's like a placebo effect.
And there's a mystical part of me. I want to believe these things, but then there's the logical part of me that goes, no, don't go too far that way.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. But I like it. I like it as a thought experiment. You're telling me you believe 100%?
No, I kind of like calibrated it for my own beliefs. That's the same shit I did with like even like Buddhism, Daoism, and Stoic writing, where I kind of like, I don't know if whitewashed is the word, but it's sort of like I made it custom so that it works for my life and brings me the most peace.
In my mind, I think what is interesting about people is that we naturally have our own things that we like, right? So like if I watch a movie, if I watch something, I might have an opinion that you don't have. And so I think it's interesting how people integrate things into their lives differently than other people.
Yeah.
You take all that information and you turn it into something that someone else wouldn't have turned all that information to.
And that's why you got to be you.
Right.
That's the advice, right?
No, 100%. And you have to be, and I think you have to be aware of that. Like I just said, you have to actually see yourself doing it. You have to like catch yourself doing it.
Because like, what's funny is like Buddhism and Daoism, for example, right? You question that. One thing you think about too is like, well, look at where it stems from.
Right.
A sort of communist dictatorship. It's like, well, thinking life is just suffering. That's kind of works in a dictatorship. Like, hey, you know why you're starving? Because we're all one, dude. Like
it carried on through communist China though for a long time.
Yeah.
Like just all of that, right? That still the fucking big religion. It's kind of been the whole time.
But that, see, what's funny with that is like it teaches to be non-judge. See, it's like Buddhism and Daoism teaches to be non-judgmental. And right there, I'm judging it,
Right.
But then I'm judging it that it's non-judgmental because it works for a dictatorship. So it's
I think it gets used for the wrong things. But I think like Christianity, there's been the question about like, does that come from like slavery roots? And because there's this idea of surrender and a master and all these things. Like I've heard that laid out before. And if you look at around the time that Christianity is invented, like the society was pretty subservient to this ruler class of people that do own all the shit. Well, so maybe you do have these people who are trying to like make sense of their suffering, and that's the source of fucking. Yeah. I mean, it of course with Buddhism, it's interesting too because I agree with everything you just said, and I think that it is crazy that it aligns so closely with something I don't really agree with. But at the same time, it just rings like there's so much truth within it. It's so hard to fucking even. Yeah. You can't just throw it away. Yeah. But also, it comes from not the best place. Not the greatest structure of things, I would say.
And that's why I don't really shit on religion. It's sort of like this is a guide to make you a better person.
Yeah.
So you can't. You know what I also say is like you can't hate the art for the fans. It's like Fish.
I agree with that.
Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Or even,
I mean, like even when the whole argument with video games are gonna cause such and such, and Eminem is gonna cause such and such. It's the same thing. You're blaming the artist for what the audience is doing.
Yeah, because it's like I'll go to like a metalcore show, and there's just like 40 guys who are morbidly obese with gauges, and I'm just like, man, is this who I am?
At a certain point, the artist, you can blame them. Like I think the whole Travis Scott thing was nuts. Have you seen? Do you remember that? Oh, it was Astroworld. It was this festival. It was the second time around it was happening. Maybe it was the first one.
Oh, is it where he ripped people off?
No, everybody showed up and people.
And they
died.
stormed the stage. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple people died, and I don't think it was that they stormed the stage. It was that when the show was happening, there was like a medical emergency in the audience, and it was already like Travis Scott's whole thing is like he directs people to rage and shit. That's what his thing is. But like there's a clip where he's on stage and then he sees the ambulance. He stops the show. He says, "What the fuck's going on?" He sees the ambulance, and then after that he just kind of like starts talking shit again and just jumps right back into it.
Yeah,
like. he acknowledged something's gone wrong. He sees it, and then he fucks everything up. And then the ambulance like got stuck there and couldn't move because the audience was like jumping, like they were raging on the ambulance car with like the dying person in it. The audience is like jumping on top of the go-kart, like fucking fist pumping and shit. Like that's the energy that Travis gave back. He told them to do that.
Yeah.
At that point, it's your fault. At that point, and he still got out of that. I remember when that happened, seeing it go down and thinking, there's no way that his career is not just kind of over. And he just came right back.
But that happens in a lot of punk shows, though. Do you listen to punk at all? Like that happens.
I mean,
at every
it's
punk
the
show.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's really not that different. He's kind of like doing punk in rap in a way. That's kind of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Did you hear it like with the Lamb of God singer? What happened with that? He was like, there was a fan running to the front, and he thought he was going to attack him, like because he was trying to climb on the stage. So he just like football punted him in the face, and he actually killed him. Like he got charged with manslaughter.
Holy shit!
Because security, he saw that like security wasn't doing. Maybe I even got the story wrong.
Dude,
but
that's a crazy story.
Yeah,
that's fucking. Can you imagine?
You know my favorite wild like metal punk clip is. There's a band, Dillinger Escape Plan. They're like math metal. It's real. It's like jazz signatures with metal music, right? And there's a clip of them. They're playing Virgin Records, which was like in a mall. And they're about to go to this breakdown on the guitar, and the guy just frog hops over like 40 heads, like he just, like he's just like kind of walking, like pacing back and forth like a polar bear in a zoo, just like chill,
like one does.
And then the moment the song starts, he just runs across 40 heads, like across the fucking crowd,
on top of their heads.
Yeah. That's my favorite concert clip. Like that's
what the fuck.
Yeah.
Did they know it was gonna happen?
Well, yeah, that's what happens at hardcore shows. They do backflips off. They do fucking roundhouse kicks in the state. Like that's the kind of shit they do.
There was George Watsky. You know who that rapper is? He's kind of like he's kind of like been an indie rapper forever. But around 2010, he was doing a show. I want to say it was in another country, but I can't remember. And he went up the scaffolding like 20 feet up and tried to stage dive into the audience and like broke some of their bones. And he had to apologize and say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." And
I have on video Tyler the Creator did that to me. No joke.
20 feet up? That high?
It's like maybe 15. Have you ever been to Subterranean?
No, but I've wanted to go. Yeah. It's in what's the neighborhood that's in? Tell the people so they know. Like, Wicker Park.
I don't even know. It's like north of Milwaukee. I don't know.
I want to say Wicker Park. I want to say
it's
that's
by
right.
Lincoln Lodge.
Okay.
So, I'm embarrassed.
Logan Square. It's over in the Logan Square area.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed because I grew up in Chicago till I was like 20, and I don't know any of the I didn't even know my neighborhood was called Dunning. Like I don't know any of the neighborhoods. But
I'm doing my very best. I can't tell you a fucking street name to save my life. So there you go.
Yeah. But they this was I hate to be that guy, but I got into Odd Future before like people knew about it.
Oh, dude, Odd Future was. So, are you talking like Loiter Squad days?
I'm talking pre-Loiter Squad. I'm talking about like the mixtape.
Bastard, when Tyler was dropped. Before that.
Wow. When it was just Odd Future. It wasn't even Odd Future, Wolfgang Kill 'Em All. It was just Odd Future.
That's cool.
And I got into it because when I would like rip music off torrents, it just said like, this sounds like Tribe Called Quest. Mm-hmm. And I just remember like that was my I got out of college and I just want to get stoned and play snowboarding games high. And I would just listen to Odd Future, but they were playing Lollapalooza. So when I saw him is when he blew up from Bastard, from Yonkers.
Whoa.
And he was about to do a Lollapalooza after show, and it was at Subterranean, and Trash Talk, they're a hardcore band. They're like one of those bands that jump off the stage and shit. They were going to do Subterranean, and I heard about it last moment, and dude, it was fun because it was like partying with Odd Future because all they did was play old school rap beats like Master P, Eazy-E, Tupac, and then they would freestyle over it.
Really?
And I have on video. It's still on YouTube. Everybody bitches. All the comments are, "Why the fuck is this 30 seconds?" I'm like, because I stopped when he jumped on me. Like, so But yeah.
Oh, you didn't get the whole jumping on you moment.
I got him partying on the stage. Then I got another clip where I see him from the balcony, and then it just like stops because he jumped from the balcony on top of me.
You had to brace yourself.
Yeah.
You were realistic. You know, most people would just hold the fucking phone as he jumps.
Dude, it was so long ago. It was on a flip phone, so
you would have snapped the phone in half.
Yeah.
This was not a Nokia.
Yeah, being tracked by FBI. Yeah,
dude, burner phones. Shut up, burner phones.
So how about like, you know what? You know my two other unpopular opinions are. I hate the Beatles. I still hate the Beatles. I can't stand the Beatles, dude. Like you know why I can't stand it? Because everybody says they're the basis of the most like. What's the word? The most efficient song structure to make it as catchy as possible.
You don't
right?
agree with that?
I do agree with that, but I'm saying that I don't think that we should. To me, that's like, I drive a car, so we got to be thankful to the Model T Ford from the 1800s.
See, yeah,
like,
I agree
like,
with you. But have you ever heard like the Einstein quote? I can only see so far because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Right?
I never heard that. No, but it's nice.
It's the idea that like these people that came before me have given me so much. That's the only reason I can achieve the things I can achieve. I think that's why people look at the beat, like any of that classic rock and classic shit.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's impossible to understand the Beatles now. You literally don't get it. Like if you exist in the world now and you were born in the last 30 years and you listen to the Beatles, you actually just don't even understand what you're hearing. Yeah. Because imagine hearing that for the first time ever when there was nothing else. That's the problem. I agree with you. It is kind of like boring, but it's because there wasn't anything else. Like if I don't give a fuck about a song that says I want to hold your hand, that shit is ass. But if there's nothing that's even talking about anything remotely near that, maybe that would be pretty dope.
You know why I think it is? Like, I feel I have this theory that like everybody was raised on their parents' favorite 60s band.
That's true.
Do you have that?
I don't. I didn't grow up that way, but I think there's something to your theory.
Like, did you have like that one of your parents had a favorite band?
My dad listened to a lot of classic rock, and I think that probably did mold my interests a little bit. Like, I think classic rock is dope as fuck, of course.
Yeah, I got sick of it from being in factories because that was the nonstop Tom Petty, John Mellencamp,
and there's bad classic rock. For the record. There's a lot of bad classic rock, but I think glam rock is kind of just that whole genre.
Oh, dude,
I hate that stuff.
I can't all that hair metal shit. I can't fucking stand that. Like that's what to me. When I hear about like what they did, did you hear about what they did in the 70s in Chicago?
No.
How like
maybe.
So there was like do you know who like Man Cow is?
No.
Okay, so there was a figure in Chicago. He was kind of like the Chicago's Howard Stern, and he just went on this rant that he was like, "Hey, fuck disco. We're gonna destroy it. It's the stupidest shit ever." And they went to the White Sox field and they just burned every disco record in a
like the Joker in Dark Knight.
Yeah. and I was like, I want to do that with the 80s because I don't like all of the 80s like that. It's like this is what happens when you get the confidence of cocaine.
Yeah.
You think this is good. But what I was getting at is like I was raised on Pink Floyd, and Pink
Floyd's great.
Wrote a lot of concept albums.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's detrimental to me as a kid is that gave me the impression that a good band is bands that write full albums that are good, because there's a shit ton of fucking one-hit wonders. Right. You know? So like, I don't know.
I often say, because the first show I ever really watched was Breaking Bad, I really think it ruined shows for me in this way, because it is that well written of a show to where you watch other shows and you're like, oh well, that doesn't really, and that's like every show I watch.
Yeah.
I don't like almost any show I watch. I hate most shows that are popular. I think everything sucks. And I really think it's because I watched a show like Breaking Bad to start and it just fucking ruined me.
Yeah, it sets the standard. Did you watch Sopranos?
I have watched everything except the last season, and it's been so long. Like I was watching it on like torrent websites well, a friend of mine was watching it on torrent websites. I would never admit to something like that. But anyway,
you know, I got a fine in the mail for still torrenting today.
It was crazy. They're still pursuing it to me. Like you guys are still doing that.
And you know who it was for? Anthony Jeselnik, of all people.
Bruh.
Of all people, dude.
It's just so it's not even the people who make the art. That's the fucking stupid part to me. I mean, it's the copyrights. I mean, it's still archaic the way they do copyrights, where you can't use a song or else we'll advertise on your shit. Yeah. I'm advertising your music for you by using the song. You guys are so stupid. And it's like a rule from the 90s, the 2000s, when you didn't have the internet.
Yeah,
it makes sense then, but now it's like you should. And I think they're just starting to come around because of TikTok, and like they're realizing, oh, songs get famous because people use our songs. We should let people do that. Yeah, you should have been letting them do that for the last fucking 20 years. It just drives me nuts. Like videos that get copyright stricken and taken down on YouTube because they allude to a song. That was a big thing with, I want to say, Gus Johnson. That he's a YouTuber. He had mentioned a song and the video got taken down, which is like the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just the rules around what you can do with songs drives me so nuts. It's the stupidest thing in the world. And it's just people who are trying to make money. Like, torrenting should be legal. You should be happy I want to get it for free, because the people who will pay for it will pay for it. Yeah. I really think that. I think like you should just accept people are always going to steal from you, and you shouldn't try to crack down on it, and you should almost embrace it, like Nintendo with like getting rid of ROMs and all this shit. Yeah. You're actually shitting on your community. Yeah, those people were getting games for free, but they were also the community. And so when you take the ROMs away, you just fucking told them you don't care for them. Like, and then you make them buy everything. Then you tell them, then you turn around and say, yeah, all those games are still available. You just have to go buy them from our store. And it's how every company operates. It's like they don't actually care about the people who are actually going to buy it. They'd rather just make money.
Yeah, you know how torrents helped? So I did a video on this, but I was like, have you ever heard of what.cd? Mm-mm. So, dude, this was the music nerds' fucking paradise. Because it was like
everything.
Like, dude, you needed an invite. It was very exclusive to enter. And if you got kicked off, you got like 2 strikes. And what it was a fan-made torrenting website with no ads. And what it did is everybody on there, like for example, if I saw you at that roast battle, right, and I had a high quality recorder, people would upload that and be like, oh fuck, I remember that show, and they would upload it like, FLAC lossless vinyl quality, and they'd be like, oh, here's Ruse live at Zany's on this date. Right. And you could download it. And the funny thing is this, that like for my band, so here's what's funny too. I sold drugs for like 12 years.
Good for you.
Yeah. Welding and drugs, man. That's
very educational life experience.
Yeah, dude.
Would recommend.
Yeah. And when I sold, I actually was like, so there's like you have the guy who sells like dime bags and eighths. Yeah. And then you have the guy in between the guy and the mule, which is like, the mule takes it across the border. I was the guy between the guy and the mule. So I sold, but I sold huge quantities. And when I would party with like these Mexican gangbangers sometimes. And what I would do is like, I'd be like, hey, like my band on Spotify, by the way. I'd be the only white guy at this fucking like Stone Park, Trailer Park Boys of Latin Kings party. I'd be like, hey, like my band. So here's what's funny is on Spotify, it would be like, you know how you get recommended music? Yeah. It would be like, hey, your band sounds like shit that I listen to, like Oasis and Brian Jonestown Massacre. But then because all these gangbangers, like, it also sounds like Lil E and Big Pun and fucking like YG, Loco, like all these gangbanger Mexican music. So what I'm saying is like the torrents helped because the fans voted on what you actually sound like. Right. So I would upload all my albums for free because that's what gave me the most fucking exposure.
Yeah, and back in the day, I mean, it was LimeWire. It was, what was the other one?
BearShare. Kazaa.
Yep, Kazaa. And all those, you would have stuff like even mislabeled. It would be it would say it is. I remember there was something I downloaded. It was supposed to be Tenacious D, but it definitely wasn't. And I still to this day do not know what the fuck it was.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean because they're like in the beginning there'd be like they would label everything Nirvana.
Yeah.
But then it was like Stone Temple Pilots.
And that's like a band trying to advertise.
Yeah.
They try to get you to accident. That was like clickbait back then.
Yeah.
There's a saying they were Nirvana.
Do you
Nirvana
know,
lost song 1996, and it'll be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it's not Nirvana.
So I want to ask you, like, do you know what got you into rapping? What was your favorite rap? Like if you had a top 3 right now.
What got me into rapping in general would, I honestly, I think it's when you say be yourself and cultivate yourself. Like when you say that is like a message you want people to understand. Mm-hmm. I think that is the ultimate thing that I'm always striving to do. And I learned that I could do that through something like rap in a way that is personal to me. I think I just figured that out one day. Like I want to say I did a song with my cousin. We were doing like a Halo rap, and the joke was it was a parody of Dead and Gone by T.I. It was his idea, I think. And so I think I wrote the hook. I had to have, because he wouldn't have wrote it that way, because it's about Halo. And I wrote, I want to say I was like 8 years old, 9, maybe 10. Whoa, I'm just trying to get a kill streak, dog. I just gotta wait till I respawn. Wait till I respawn, And I've been playing this game too long. I just gotta wait till I respawn. Just like the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
But that was the hook, and then he did the verses, and I can still kind of remember even like what he wrote. I think the second verse goes like, playing in Forge, making the next best map. I Capone your ass while taking a nap. Talking your game, spitting your shit. Kill my teammate, then you're gonna get hit. 1 minute left, 49. So much stress, but I'm doing fine. Time has passed, still no kill, till I see a dude on top of the hill. And then something, fuck him up with assassination for the win. Coming at you with my gravity hammer. Coming near me, then I'm gonna slam you. It's just like, I'm surprised I even remember all that, because I'm telling you, I haven't heard that since I was 12.
Yeah.
But I still have the paper where it's written on somewhere. And that's the very first rap I've ever been a part of. And then I want to say when I was in 8th grade, shout out my friend Antonio that sat next to me in science class. He got me to rap for something. I think I joked about being a rapper, and then shout out my friend Trevor, who said we were going to be rappers together, and then he changed his mind and wanted to do UFC, because that's where it all really starts. And that would be in 2012. That'd be in 2012. So about 13 years ago now.
Where's he at now?
I think Trevor is happily married with a child. And I don't know exactly where he lives.
In Tremors, right?
But what makes me mad is he's not a fucking UFC fighter.
Yeah.
He told me, dude, we're gonna be rappers, and then no, actually, I'm gonna do UFC. And also, our rap name is the worst rap name I think I've ever heard. I want to say someone once told me something worse, but I can't remember what it was. The idea was Bad Meets Evil was. Yeah. You had that with Eminem and Royce da 5'9", so we were going to be, and this again was Trevor's idea, so he was thinking, since Kanye West in the song Forever said, rape the game young, you can call it statutory. That's what he says in the song. Yeah. Rape the game young, you can call it statutory. So we were going to be called Statutory Evil, was going to be the name of our rap group. And I was going to be statutory, and he was going to be evil.
Nice.
Fucking worst name I've ever heard. It just implies bad things.
Yeah.
And so very quickly it became I was just statutory evil, and then I changed it to ruse, when that actually comes from
Statutory Ruse.
Statutory. That's the full name for the kid, for the real fans that know.
Yeah.
No, I changed it to Ruse because I was doing professional wrestling with my friends inside of you put the mattress down, you cut the promos, and I was using the song Ruse by Chevelle as an entrance theme. Now I have a whole explanation for the name, but that is the true origin. And long story short, I think that rap, just through all those experiences and other things, I've learned So if I'm supposed to give a speech, if I'm told to do something, I've learned I can do it so much better if I turn it into a rap. I can like blow your mind. I can actually make it something, like a piece of art. I can turn it into something, but I can't do that if it's just a speech. But if I actually do the thing, it works. Every time it works. One of the craziest raps I did was called a Teen Quest Testimony, and I was in this job employment program where they train you how to get a job. They train you how to do all these things. It's designed for teens for pre-employment. And at the very end, they want you to give a speech. And I had already done this with previous things where it's like, it's actually easier to write a rap if you have the guidelines. If I know everything I have to say, now I just have to figure out how to string everything together. And that's actually easier. And so that's what I did. And I had to write it within like a few days. I go up there, I give the speech, and I fucking blow them away. They're like, oh my God. And they were supposed to vote on who it's going to be from each like group of teens, because there's 3-4 different groups. They're all going to get together at one graduation ceremony. And at the graduation ceremony, it was like 1,000 people. Yeah. And dude, they started to like try to make a beat for me and fucking like it was as good as it could have possibly went. And I think that ends up being the roast battle thing, where then now I'm going to roast battle, and it's the same exact thing where on the Monday of the roast battle, that's when I get the lineup, and I have Monday through Thursday to write it. And so I have to write a roast for at least one for every person, and then I have to hope to God the freestyle doesn't suck.
Is that like a regular occurring thing?
Now I think they're going to save me for special occasions. I like to think of it as like ruse is their secret weapon. I'm just waiting for them to pull me out of their arsenal yet again, which I think might actually be the better move, because every single episode might be a bit much. For the record, I could pull it off, but it might be a bit much. You might burn the people out on ruse, because it is kind of unconventional to introduce. And what I'm doing is to do that, because that's what I like so much about it. If I were to do these things and suck, it would fail. It would flop so hard. I have to be good. If I'm bad, no one likes that I did that. Everyone's like, please stop wasting our time. Especially in a comedy context. Like at a comedy show, no one wants you to like go up there and fucking start doing musical comedy and start wasting everybody's time. You have to make it actually funny and make it actually entertaining. And so that's the other part that I really enjoy, is that it's not a good environment for me to be in.
That's one thing. That's one thing that drives every comedian paranoid is like, what is the feedback? Like I'll be honest, like roast battle, I don't know what they think of me, but I know that I did 5. 3 out of the 5, as far as audience reaction, did fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is a weird gig, right?
But it's like, maybe they don't. Maybe the bookers don't like you. You know.
And comedy is like full of. See, you say that comedy isn't full of little bitches like music is, but I do think that in comedy you'll see a lot of. I don't want to say little bitches, but you'll see like people who take things personal and hold grudges.
You know what? I do gotta take that. I think you changed my mind on it because you know what's funny is like,
come full circle on Ruse Radio.
No, because you know what my problem is like, no matter what I get involved in, like when I got involved in comedy, I was like, I thought everybody has thick skin.
Yeah, because
I
think because of the context of what you're doing.
Also because I got into it. My first show was a roast battle because I wanted to be just a roast. Because I mean, this is kind of stupid, but like what got me into comedy to get on stage and do it was I really like Jeff Ross. Like I've told this before on my podcast that like I had. My family members were fucking savage. They just humiliated the fuck out of me. And so when I saw somebody like Jeff Ross, where I was like, bro, I could ruin your month.
I've been
with
training
one
for
sentence.
This.
Yeah,
I've been training my whole life. You don't understand.
But what I was gonna say is like, there was a lot of comedians that I ran into where it was like, and this is where like I did get like a rep for talking trash, and I didn't really. It's funny because I grew up in a hard working class part of town where everybody talked trash. So to me, it was like it's either busting balls or it's just like telling you real feedback. Like when I, being an artist, so here's why I love being a comedian better than being a musician, because you write a song, you're like, dude, that song, if it's not perfect, you're going to either tour with it for 2 fucking years or you're gonna have it on an album for 2 fucking, and you're gonna notice every single fucking flaw,
And you could change it in
and
comedy.
you can't. Yeah. And with comedy, it's like, I remember one of my first bits was about veganism or Oasis, or I have a bit about me working at Jiffy Lube. And I still have the same bit, but it's different jokes. It's the same premise, but it's so much better because I kept polishing the edges, you know?
Right.
But you're right though, that I've run into comedians where they are a little bit where I was like, yo, dude, do you know Bobby Lee has this joke or something, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, why the fuck do you tell me that? Just straight up like that. I'm like, well, do you want me to sugarcoat it for you, bro? Like, that sounds familiar.
My theory is that comedians, their job is to have an opinion on everything. And I think that's the natural outgrowth of that, is they carry that into their regular life.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening.
And
because musicians are the kind of the opposite. They're just like brooding, and they just are too conceptual, and they overthink shit.
Yeah.
Comedians, they'll do it right out loud to you.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah.
They're brash, dude. And I respect it in a way. I kind of like the forthcoming nature of it, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't identify with that. I am too much of a Buddhist. I would say I'm too much outside of the present moment to take something like any personal slight, any of that. I just don't take that stuff seriously. I just don't. And so when I see people do that, it's almost like a childish thing in my mind. I'm like, don't you see? Like, that's just... That, like, if someone's insulting you, for example, that usually has nothing to do with you. It usually, unless you're really doing something wrong, it has nothing to do with you. So why the fuck do you care? Or like the example you just said, if someone told you you're stealing a joke, like, oh, that joke you said, just to let you know, that someone else already said that joke. They're doing you a favor. But for some reason in your mind, you've created this reality where that's not a favor. That's them stepping on your joke, because now you can't do that joke ever again. Like, they ruined your life just now. That's the reality you're in. But if you can't see beyond the reality you're in, you believe it. You really think you're an asshole because you told me that I did the joke that Bobby Lee did 15 years ago. You're the asshole. I can understand how they get there, but I just don't like that thinking at all. I just don't think it's realistic, because that's how people end up in stupid drama, and that's how people end up in like I think the world's a reflection of you. So I think people like that are the people who end up in those situations. It just makes sense. And then this drama forms around them, and it's almost like a chicken or the egg situation, where it's like, oh, I wonder, like, did they create all this shit, or did it happen to them, and then that made them who they are? Because some people, you'll just see them, and it's like they're a wrecking ball, dude. They're just fucking wrecking balls. And like, particularly in entertainment industries, you'll just see some people who are just like, whoa, that person's fucking like, they're different. They move differently. And so it always makes me wonder, like, where does that even start? You know, those people, because some people are dangerous. Like, you'll hear sometimes about comedians who are like, oh, stay away from so and so, like famous comedians.
It's right here.
I mean, like, so and so's coming to town, like a touring comic. They'll be like, I had somebody I talked to who I heard them say something like this. I forgot to ask him who it was, because they said it on a podcast. It was Mike Knight. Mike Knight and Joseph Kilgallen, that was on that podcast, and Mike Knight said that he worked with some comic, and they came by, and it was a comic he was familiar with, a famous touring comic, and he was warned, oh, be careful with this guy. He's a kind of an asshole. And then, like, during a set, he's like, someone made a joke about, this is a clue. Someone made a joke about bald guys, and then someone starts yelling in the audience.
My gossip queen ass is
was actually
going through my
the story was about him. It was him.
Almost. Got that vampire V.
But he started yelling, and then like the Mike Knight, he's looking around like, who the fuck is yelling? Like, who's ruining this person's set? And then he realizes, oh, it's the feature. It's the fucking guy that they warned me about. So he had to go.
The feature was yelling at the guy's set.
The touring comic who was featured on the show.
That's ridiculous.
It's a crazy story. And so it really made me wonder, who the fuck is the guy who would do this?
Well,
but
you know what's beautiful is, like, I got to plug this in, that me and do you know Brennan Weaver?
No.
Have you heard?
He sounds familiar.
He goes by Bee-Wee. You should have him on here. Does
Bee-Wee have a big Pee-Wee?
I haven't gotten that close yet, but I hope soon.
I'll ask him for you.
I think he does. No, I've seen him in a scrub though. So, but no,
he's gotten close.
Yeah, gotten close, man.
I've seen his ass cheeks, but not his wiener.
Yeah, but me and him. So Bewey's been in like the suburban comedy scene for I think almost 10 years. Like everybody knows, everybody associated because I had a man crush on him because I think he sounds exactly and kind of almost looks like Louis C.K.
Oh, that's hot.
But Bewey's very liberal, so it's kind of funny, like a liberal blue-haired Louis C.K. But anyways, you know, we kind of bonded on knowing that we both had like mild OCD.
Okay.
And we started running this show in the Burbs. I got offered to run a showcase in the Burbs. It's called Wild Dogs. It's at a fucking punk rock hot dog restaurant. Fuck yeah, let's get wild. And dude, so the most iconic moments for me this year, because I like to set baby steps each year, you know, it's like, and I think every comic does, like they're like, oh, this year I'm gonna do fucking 460 mics, you know, whatever they do, a quantity shit.
That's a baby step.
For me it was like, I want to do Zanies, and I already fucking did it last month.
Yeah.
I was like, holy, what do I do when I'm only halfway into the year and I already reached my goal? Like I'm happy and I'm humble, but being booked at Zanies and running this show in the Burbs has taught me so fucking much about getting booked, because there's so much, dude, I hated the paranoia and rejection of, why didn't they like my clip? What did I do wrong? Was it the wrong clip? Did I swear too much? Is it not long enough? Is the audio bad? Like, you don't know because you don't get the answer. And I finally got, like, what's it called? Like, I finally got it. Like, being a producer for a show and then doing, you know what's funny about Zanies is this what happened. Like, 2 weeks before Zanies, I was submitting clips, right? And there's a venue, I'm not going to mention it, but I asked him, I'm like, hey, is there a reason why, like, I've been consistently crushing at your open mic like 4 times in a row. Why the fuck why am I not on your pick list, whatever, you know? Side note, I heard this person hates white men. That was the first thing, which people don't want to talk about. And that's fine. Whatever the fuck. You're the booker. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Let me just say, that's not racist at all.
It is. You can hate, bro, you can hate people who wear flip-flops if you want, you know, like you're the producer, do whatever the fuck you want. But the other thing was, I asked them and they genuinely told me, like, Phil, go at it for 6 more ones and get back at me. Because honestly, in my standards, I don't think you're funny. And then 2 weeks later, I get booked at Zanies. I'm like, so what I realized is this club, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a puzzle piece thing.
Yeah, but none of it means anything true.
It doesn't mean shit, because it's like this club wants, like, I'm glad that I'm not mentioning it, but it's like it wants old Gen Xers who are like super liberal, who have political jokes. To me, I don't have any political joke. I think politics and comedy is fucking stupid as hell.
I think it can be done, but it's usually not done well.
Yeah.
Especially in a city, because you end up just getting stuff that leans entirely in one direction, and people who don't understand how that looks to other people. And that's what drives me nuts, is like, you just don't understand, like, and that goes both ways. Like, if you're in a red area and then you go too hard on that, it just doesn't translate. You have to find a way to be universal if you're doing political comedy. And that's the tightrope walk in my mind.
The funny thing is that, like, I think this might be a Polish immigrant thing, that to me, politics is just another lame hobby. Like, right. I don't look at it as politics or an agenda. I look at it like, imagine if there was a comedian where all their jokes was about cooking recipes.
Here's my controversial opinion. You want mine? I think making politics your identity is just as bad as making being gay your identity, or making any particular part of your identity your entire identity. That should just be a part of you. Yeah. But when you make it everything about you, you become a caricature of yourself. Now I can predict you. Now you're just a version of someone that's like a template. It's not actually you anymore. It's like that whole being yourself thing is gone. Because you're so concerned with being a part of this group now. And that drives me nuts. It upsets me, because I think individuality is such a beautiful thing that we all have. Like, it actually makes me sad when people behave this way.
I think it's, you know what I call it, is like, I think it's the second base of finding yourself. And obviously it's hard. Like, if you're coming out of the closet and that's a hard thing for you, your first base is going to be like, should I do this? And then your second base is like, well, if I'm gay and this is what gay people do, well, then this is what I'm going to do. But then that third base and home run is you being, I'm gay, but this is the kind of gay that I am.
And that is the beautiful blossoming of the butterfly.
You know what's the worst identity in this country? Is work. I fucking can't
identify
stand
with
that.
work.
Yeah, like I'm a welder and that's all I am. That's all I am. I fucking drink beer and do fentanyl on the weekends and flip burgers. Like that's it.
It should be a part of your life.
Like I used to relate to so many immigrants. Like there'd be Japanese welders or there'd be Polish welders, and I'd be like, here's what I say. Like if I go, hey, what do? You go, oh, I'm a rapper and I do things for comedy, right? You tell somebody what you do. I don't want to know what you do for your job. Like that doesn't mean shit to me. You know, like that. I don't know, man. Like, is that what you want on your tombstone? I fucking made.
No.
I hooked up 40 buildings with electricity before I died.
Yeah,
like,
but some people, I mean, it goes both ways, because I think if you're an artist, it's hard to understand that someone would take pride in something like that. Because, I mean, it is different. Like, I almost think there's something honorable about living an ordinary life, because I don't think that way. I think, I think in terms of grandeur and I need to accomplish all this shit. And they're not thinking like that at all. They're thinking, I'm just a welder. And there's something kind of simple and beautiful about it at the same time. I was just
about to say, it is beautiful. That kind of is more Buddhist, that the simple, minimalistic beauty of simple thing. But what I'm saying is,
it shouldn't be all of you, right?
It shouldn't be your full identity. Yeah.
Well, I think, and that's another thing I think Buddhism is trying to teach you, is that there's no single thing. Your identity is just something you made up. Even that is just something that's just made up, and you just place all these things on top of it. So if I'm so concerned with this one part of my identity, and I make that everything, well, I'm actually cutting all this other stuff out by doing that. I'm missing a bigger picture in this way, because now I'm not even looking at... He's going to lick you. Oscar, what's going on with you, buddy? You want to lay down? Can you lay down?
He liked the identity topic.
He's into that. Because you know what? Sometimes I look at Oscar and I try to take out his identity even. Literally. Yeah. Like, I think that's a good exercise to have with your pets, is to think in terms of, like, imagine your pet outside of a name, outside of the concept of a pet, outside of the concept of an animal. Yeah. And just as a living soul that exists. Yeah. And that's a different thing. Dogs
have souls?
Yes, dude.
I know.
I think. Well, not only do they have souls, I think people who aren't pet owners don't really realize the depths to which animal knowledge can go. Like animals do smart shit. Like they'll manipulate you. They have personalities to the point where one pet will behave completely differently, even though they grew up together. It's just like the way that a person's personality will develop, and the way that you be yourself, and the way that you're a result of nature and nurture and this weird combo. Like Oscar, he's always been that way since he was a puppy, but also I definitely have like nurtured him into what he is. It's just weird, you know? And it's also weird that they are like a reflection of your behavior too. Like I think I heard Duncan Trussell say that once. Like if you're acting all neurotic and crazy, your pets then in turn act neurotic and crazy. Yeah, I think that's 100% true.
Well, yeah, it's like the Disney Dalmatian movie where like each owner looks like their pet, you know?
Yeah, like, and that's real too. That's real. People get pets that look like them and behave like them.
That kind of sucks, because my favorite cat is fat. He likes donuts.
And what does that say about you?
And he's a bully. He's a bully. He doesn't ask for consent.
Oh damn, dude! You got a bad future ahead of you.
No, man.
You trying to be a comedian?
You know, but I like that we're on the topic of identity, because it's like, you know what I like. Here's the thing. You know, there's a lot of people, friends of mine that I won't mention, that, like, for example, they went to Austin, right? Yeah. And it's like one of them made it, and it's like, what did that one have different from the other 13, right? And it's because that one was like, I'm awkward, I'm fucking weird, I'm myself, and that I'm at the what I was calling the third base of identity, where I'm like, I'm gonna do my voice solely, right? Yeah. And then the other 12 whatever behind him are like, I'm going to Austin to become big, but they're still a little bit afraid to be vulnerable. So they're sort of like, right, I'm a Shane Gillis clone. You know, like it's just like I can't talk about the uncomfortable shit that goes on in the back of my mind, you know?
Right.
That's what people want to hear. Everybody's got intrusive thoughts. Everybody's got I used to do a bit like I can't even do this bit anywhere because this is kind of fucking controversial, but I was like growing up and it was a mix of being like mild OCD and Polish. Is like I would take things literally. So like when I saw something like, oh, this is the world's #1 pizza place, I'd be like, can you believe this? In all of planet, #1 is right here on the corner of whatever, you know? And so I remember like small talking in like a factory and there'd be like some news story about a pedophile and they'd be like, can you fucking imagine somebody did this to a child? And I'd be like, hold on. I'm just trying to imagine it for a second, you know? Like, oh, wait, no, don't actually imagine it, you know? Because people have...
There's got to be a way to make that work.
Yeah.
That's not... You can't lay it out like that. But
yeah,
it's a funny concept.
Yeah.
There's a way to make that work.
But
That's a wild joke.
But it's like because I'm OCD, I'm trying to gauge at how fucked up this is. Like I get to me fucked up is, I don't know, like... throwing something at your pet because you're mad, right?
Yeah.
So that's like maybe level 5. So I gotta imagine this because I have OCD. Oh shit! This is a level 9. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what like I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is like that's what I forgot who told me that. They were like, people want to see. Like people told me they want to see your true authentic self. And you know what sucks for me is like I know what my voice is, but I'm not good at translating it still well. Like for example, I'll tell you right now, I broke my fucking toe. My toe is broken right now. It's taped together right now. I broke it a week ago, right? People are like, dude, just tell that fucking story. Because what happened to me is I busted it on a forklift, right? I go to 5 different urgent cares. All of them don't have an x-ray technician. So I'm driving around 70 miles per hour looking for a fucking urgent care with an x-ray tech. So I call my wife. I'm like, hey, can you please find an urgent care that has x-ray tech? She finds one. I go in there. I'm like, hey, I got a broken foot. I'm in pain. I went to 5 fucking places. Can you please take care of this? They're like, we're a pet hospital. She sent me to a fucking pet hospital. You know, and we know you look like a fucking raccoon, but we can't treat like, you know. And then the next thing is I came home screaming because I was in so much pain that I was just yelling at the air, you know, what the fuck? It took me 5, you know? And my wife doesn't like when anybody screams. It's like the girl meme, you raise your voice a notch and they start crying, you know? So I go to my wife to hug her. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry I was yelling. Dude, she stomps on my broken toe accidentally. And I just started screaming again, you know? It's like, this is the kind of funny shit that just happens everyday life that's the authentic self that people are looking for rather than, so I was walking on the train and there's what you know, like.
I think what's interesting is you find what you're looking for. And I think that goes for what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
If I look at something and this lines up perfectly with me, and then you apply things to yourself and you create your own meanings for things. And sometimes there's misdirection in that, and sometimes it's wrong. But I think like chasing that is the way that you figure yourself out. Like I'm so glad I found rap and I found music at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because one thing I'll always say is like people find their thing so late in life. Like people who are comics often weren't comics when they were fucking 15. They started when they were 24, when they were 27. Yeah. Then it's always an interesting question, like, how did you get into comedy? Because it's usually not the same thing. And there are comics who they were lawyers, they were fucking professional, they were physical trainers. That's one you'll see a few times. Yeah. Just random shit, just totally random, and then they ended up in comedy. And that's the beauty of you, that you go, oh, you know what, man, I want to be Louis C.K., so I'm going to follow his path. But he has a different path than you. And that's what makes him, because that's his different fucking path. And that's why you'll never be him.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be him.
You want to be you, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting to me, like
that's why when I was like, this place didn't want to fucking like this, like it's funny because this is when Buddhism helps to put things simple but judgmental. Is I was like, oh, wait a minute, this place that only books old Gen Xers doesn't want me there. Big surprise. Yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute, why would I want to do a show there? And it's not out of spite. It's just like...
That show would go badly.
Yeah. I'm not going to do good there. I'm going to... Like, that's not my crowd.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Even if they let you go, it wouldn't be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And they're actually protecting you in this weird way.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, when you find your audience and who loves you, then you got to find, okay, I got to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's who wants me.
I saw Big J Okerson say, I think it was he was on Rogan just recently. He was saying how like he got booked for some show at one of those venues where you show up and they say, don't be racist, don't be sexist, don't be this. And the show went badly. And then he was just saying like he doesn't even care. Just don't book him for that show. Like it was their fault it went wrong. They just shouldn't have booked him. And it's the same. I mean, that's the best possible approach you could have.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying before, don't be a hater. That's for somebody. Somebody enjoys that venue and enjoys that comedy. I probably don't. And I just wouldn't go there. I just wouldn't participate in that. But somebody will, and so they're going to curate that. Oh, well, I'm not saying Big J. I'm saying like the
in
type
general.
No, I'm saying the venue that Big J performed at, where it's like identity politics. Like we're concerned with what we can't say. In my mind, that's just like anti-creativity, anti-comedy. When you start saying what you can't say, because now you're just drawing lines around things. Like at a certain point, you just have to accept. Everybody probably has the best interest in heart. We'll just give them benefit of the doubt unless they step over a boundary. Don't start with, you can't say this and you can't say this, because now you're limiting my creativity.
Yeah.
Even in a subconscious way. Like now I'm going to stop going certain directions because I'm worried that you may misinterpret something.
Yeah.
All of that's bad. I think all of that stuff is bad.
You know what's ridiculous is you were talking about Brian was on here, you know?
Yeah.
Me, Brian, and Ruben went to a show in Missouri. And we kind of got banned from that venue.
Was it the type of thing I'm talking about, where they as soon as you walk in, they have like a paper on the wall? Don't say this.
It was actually the opposite. We went to this place. It's a long story. But
we were super inclusive, and they hated it.
No. Like what happened is So I booked this show. I started doing this thing, and I'm still gonna do it, where I try to take Chicago comics and go on tour. Like anybody who has the opportunity to go out of state or has.
Are you familiar with Marlon Hugh?
Yeah.
He's doing that cool thing with variants. That's really cool.
It was with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, dude. I asked. I was like, hey, are there any shows you need like a stupid, whatever, redneck immigrant white guy? And they were like, this show doesn't go well. It's like all racist hicks. You should do it. You know? And I did it, and dude, it is so ridiculous, because I remember like out of me, Brian, and Ruben, I was, I guess you could call, the most seasoned, because I did it the most, whatever, I'd done the most shows.
Oh, by the way, we should Brian Miklas and Ruben B, right?
Yeah.
Just so the people know.
And we and Ruben 100% agrees with I've talked to him about this, where we walked in there. The point is, because I was the most quote unquote seasoned, I asked him, I'm like, hey man, how much time do you want us to do? Is there anything that you don't want us to say? And the answer I got, this is Trump's America, so go at it. And I went at it. And now we're not allowed there anymore.
You went anti-Trump, huh?
I didn't even go anti-Trump. I guess, long story short, what got them was there was the host was absolutely awful. They like I've never done a show where if somebody in the audience is talking, you give them like 2 minutes and then you kick them the fuck out. There was a whole gaggle of drunk bridesmaids, and they would not shut the fuck up. And the host and the booker were laughing their asses off. So I was going at them for 45 minutes. And what I was going at them at was, one of them screamed, like I was like, hey, is anybody married here? One of them screamed, no, I'm a lesbian. And then I noticed that she was drunk. So I got in this stupid argument of that I'm more of a lesbian than you, because I got this haircut. I like scissoring. I work at a carpet shop. I get more rug than you. Like, it was so dumb and ridiculous. And she's the one who complained. She was like, this guy humiliated me. He won the lesbian contest. Like, it was ridiculous.
And she started it.
Yeah. They were just, it was a story of getting heckled for 45 fucking minutes and just like We surf the wave. That's the Taoist quote: is you surf the wave. You surf the wave. You don't swim with it. You don't swim against it. You just float on your fucking board. You know.
Brian went before you, right?
Yeah.
You told this story on a podcast.
I did.
Just maybe because I remember that you said Brian did a bunch of crowd work too. So
yeah. So we were each supposed to do, I think, 7 minutes only.
Yeah.
And 7 to 12, and like Ruben was real new because this was like a few months ago. So he is like, all right, I'm done. I can't deal with these.
Poor
people.
guy.
So
that's a good rep for him, right?
Yeah.
This is what these are the trenches. Ruben.
Yeah. But he like
we drove here.
It's not that he didn't do bad. He just was like, I'm gonna do my material and then fuck this.
See, honestly though, that's the type of shit. I don't know what it is in me. That is the type of situation I'm attracted to. For some reason, I think I could turn that into something. I just think somewhere in me, I could fucking pull a magic trick out and just blow these people away.
Absolutely.
I'm perfect. I'm perfect for that type of shit. You just throw me in the worst place and I'll find a way.
Yeah.
I could pull those, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they would not like me. I don't know. Maybe for some reason I think if I was in that room, I could win over Trump's America.
It reminded me of a bunch of Hank Hills. Like if the hardest laugh you get is
maybe I would like pull out like a country song or two for him, just out of my ass.
I'd pull out a gun.
Yeah.
Like
they would like that.
They would like that.
Be like, woo!
Yeah.
Hell yeah! This show just got good.
Yeah. So
shoot it!
So I asked you earlier.
Follow you outside.
Yeah.
Start shooting in the air.
Yeah, dude.
Best show of their lives.
Again, you're from Chicago. Y'all hold like this, right? Because we don't know how to aim. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
In Chicago, it's always stray bullets that kill people.
That reminds me of the movie Get Smart. I want to say it's Get Smart, but maybe it's Date Night. No, it's Date Night with Steve Carell. And he's saying how to hold a gun, and just Steve Carell holding the gun sideways is funny. He's like trying to be gangsta, but also, Stray Bullets is crazy. You ever hear that song by La Dispute? Such a good song. You familiar with the band La Dispute at all?
Maybe. I've heard the name. I haven't heard the...
I just don't think I'm going to remember the name of the song. It's one of their most popular songs, and it's about a kid he was riding his bike home, and he got hit by a stray bullet. And that's just the whole song is about that. La Dispute, for those that don't know, is just a really good band. They're so good at storytelling. Like, they're one of my favorite songwriter bands. Like, their songs are well written, and their albums are well written, like, conceptually. Their album Hudsonville, Michigan. I want to say Hudsonville, Michigan. Maybe that's just a song at the beginning of the album. I can't, but there's that album with the picture on the wall. So good. There's a song called Lady Dancing. A song called God, I can't even fucking remember. I'm so bad with song names and album names.
Use the bathroom real
quick?
I
have to pee too.
Yeah. Can we pause real quick? I'm so fucking cheap. I will use trial programs like CapCut. Yeah. You know how like you have to pay for everything on CapCut now? Right? Yeah. You know what I'll do? I'll use CapCut, and then it shows you the preview because you want to buy it, right? I will play it while
record it.
Yeah, screen record. Yeah. Because that's how much I don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
So that's like with Opus Pro is like I use like 3 different programs where I just import and move it around. That's how I made those the rap music videos that I showed you.
Now you can use it for like say I have a concept and I need certain types of stock video and stuff like that. I can just type in that into the search and it'll give me those types of things.
I don't think it does that on Opus.
Okay.
It just generates its own thing. Like it does it on its own.
Okay.
And then it's like it's funny because it like generates a title and then it generates like a description. So it says like, does this mean I'm a good person?
Yeah, it means he likes you. But Oscar, you can't just go around licking faces, buddy. Come on.
What I wanted to ask, because we were talking about before, you never meant. I said, what was your like? I don't know if it's now or before, like your top 5 favorite rappers. Or you think got in
see,
you?
I don't know, because I'm so bad at picking favorites. I'm so bad at it, and I'm not being political when I say such a thing. It's just really hard for me. But if I were to say like people that I really like a lot, I think Eminem's one of the best rappers of all time. Kendrick Lamar is probably my favorite rapper. I think he's just like Kendrick Lamar is a genius when it comes to the way he approaches writing a song, and it's just impressive to me every single time. It's like, wow, he outdoes himself continuously. And I think a lot of people don't even fully understand what someone like Kendrick Lamar is doing. And I think like he's like closer to hip hop than a lot of rappers are. In that, hip hop's supposed to be intuitive and shifting and moving and changing, and he does all those things.
I couldn't stand those people who are like, this is how rap used to be, and that's awful, bro.
But there's some truth in that, because someone like Kendrick is still old school, I think, in his approach and philosophy. And a lot of these like new school rappers, it's like that thing I was saying about being a hater before. I try not to be a hater. I don't like a lot of new rap music. I really don't. I really don't, because
what's the
I
newest?
am like that old head in my mind, like, oh, this shit is ass. Like, hip hop used to be about rap and actually saying something, and now it's just bullshit. But I have to remember that that's just me, and it's because I write that type of rap music. And so I'm supposed to not like that other stuff. So it's not for me.
So I don't know how you'll take this, but I could tell by your beats that you are that old school.
It's just how I am,
Because the beats sound like something either you know who Daoism is?
No.
He's a beat maker that he makes a bunch of rap stuff for animes. And he's a great fucking beat, but it reminds me of that. Or even just like old samples that like Wu-Tang or Tribe Called Quest would use. That's what it reminds me of. I like that trap shit from like the 2000s.
I think there is a way to blend those things. You can do both. It's just about how you do it and being sensible.
You know what's funny to me that like we're talking about this is that when the argument of old rap versus new reminds me of when we were talking about, I just blanked.
Let me
what
think.
The fuck?
I can old rap versus new. The thing between old rap versus new rap, and the way that when we're talking about this, it just brings you right back.
Okay, you got me. The way we're talking about old rap versus new rap reminds me of people who bring politics into comedy, because. So like rap, the argument was, a lot of the argument I heard was that rap used to be, we were all gangbangers and we used to sing about our real fucking life, about people that we killed and shit. And it's like, well, here's the thing. I think Pee-wee told me this, my buddy Brennan, he goes.
With the big Pee-wee.
Yes, with the big Pee-wee. That like life is so fucking short. Like you're having a guy do your clips, life is so short. I have too many hobbies.
Right.
Like I did CrossFit. I used to do jujitsu. I podcast. I do comedy. I try and write parody rap. I try and write real life music. I'm a fucking stepdad. I do so much shit. And it's like, dude, there's nothing wrong with being a jack of all trades. Pick 3 trades and master those. Because if you're a master of one thing, you suck at everything else. That's the way I look at it. I like that balance. That's the yin and yang of like, do 3 things you like that you have enough time. The reason why I'm saying that is like, so in rap, if you're a gangbanger and you're investing your time into selling drugs, doing up drive, how good are you gonna be in the energy you invest in music? And that's why, me personally, I think rap is linear. It kept getting better. I like newer rap over old rap. That's just me. But how does that coincide with comedy? Is when you say you do political jokes, first of all, so what you're telling me is this is funny, but don't ever fucking joke about politics, because I'm serious about this. I don't know if you can be a comedian without being able to laugh at everything. That's just how I look at it. So to me, that's the other thing too, is like, if you're putting investing energy into politics, how much of that are you taking away from your comedy? It's with everything. Like I was saying this before to a friend and they were laughing their ass off. Like, Rage Against the Machine, right? their entire fucking catalog is about politics.
Yeah, right.
I want to hear about Zach, how he feels about romance. You know what I mean? Because every song is a fucking history lesson. It's like, dude, like, let's hear about you. You know, I don't know. But that's me. I don't think you should mix politics and art. It's been very rare that I've seen it been done well, you know?
How about System of a Down?
I mean, I like the music. I never really gave a shit about the lyrics because it was just like, whatever, you know? You know what? Here's the other thing too, though, that pisses people off that I say. I had that phase when I was in 8th grade. There's a lot of fucking 30, 40-year-old 8th graders right now where they just discovered, fuck America, let's be rebellious, let's go burn a flag in the woods. It's like, I went through that in 8th grade. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's hard to remember that people are still going through that as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
they're not done yet.
It's not that bad. Like, see what's funny is like that, you know, that whole quote of like, go back to where you came from. If you don't like it here, get out. That's like a redneck quote, but coming from an immigrant, my entire life was, if you don't like it here, then get out. And I did. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like Poland. We were over there. We're like, you know what? It's kind of always gray here and all the buildings. Let's get the fuck out of here and go to America.
Well, and I think people in America don't realize people want to come to America still.
Yeah.
America is still the place. I mean, I think you can't understand it if you don't have a sense of perspective. If you don't understand that it's kind of just a giant experiment and no other country has the same freedoms that you have here. To the point where no matter how bad it's gotten, people still want to come here because in comparison, there is so much more opportunity. That still exists no matter what. Like, and that's... You know, I think people just get so caught up on the fact that the entire game is rigged and millionaires and billionaires are like destroying our lives and feeding us poison. That stuff's all true.
Yeah.
But America's still the best.
Yeah.
It's still the best. And I will stand by that.
I will stand by that too.
You know, it's just kind of sad because I think Americans don't understand. It's like growing up in a rich family and not getting that you're a rich kid.
Not getting poverty,
Yeah, like, bro, you don't understand. Like, you did not grow up in the poor neighborhood.
You need to go to places. you need to fucking check out like other places. You need to go out of the fucking country and see what it's like.
And
like,
I haven't done that. I still haven't like went outside of the country. And I'll also say too, to caveat that is like, obviously you have poor experiences in America, but I would even argue that there's so much more of an opportunity in that experience here than if you were poor in another country. It's just the way it is. You know,
the biggest opportunity is the fact that you can fucking leave. That's the biggest opportunity.
Exactly, yeah. Because you can get up and go.
Because there's places that you're not able to leave. Like,
what always blows my mind about China is just how integrated it actually is. And I haven't studied enough to actually understand how it works. Because just the more and more I learn, the more and more I'm like, oh, it's like that? You know, like when you find out like all their businesses have to coincide with the government. The government approves of every single business inside of China. So you just don't have a business if the government says no.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
Yeah, no, they're very micromanaging. I heard
that is like too much.
There was a guy, I don't even remember his name if I wanted to mention it, but he seemed like a creep. He was one of those white dudes that's like, you know, if you're tall, you get the most pussy in China. So he moved to China to be a teacher there, got the most pussy, but he also tried to do comedy. And he was telling me that like before you do a comedy set, you need government officials to approve of the entire set. So there really isn't like crowd work in China if you do. Yeah. You know what's a weird thing I fucking saw?
You mean crowd work, right?
Crowd walk, yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Make people laugh.
Make them go great again.
Yeah. But I fucking I went down this rabbit hole. I got real nuts about the band Oasis, and so I got nuts about like life in England and like I went down this rabbit hole of this YouTube page. It's really fucking cool. It's called I forgot what it's called, but I know the guy's name is Terry Miles, and it's this
sounds like a porn name.
Yeah, dude, he looks like, you know how like when movies have better looking actors than the real person?
Yeah.
He looks the real version of Austin Powers. Like an ugly ass, like horse tooth British guy, you know?
All right.
And not that Austin Powers looks sexy, but anyways, this guy Terry Miles, like, what's cool is like in England, the pubs that are there have been there since like the medieval times. They've been fucking there forever. So he plays like, you know what like honky tonk piano is? It's like dunga 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 dunga, great balls of fire, you know? He goes to all these different pubs and he plays all these different pianos that are like thousands of years old. And you know what's wild? Because we were talking about like China and like whatever communism and shit.
Yeah.
There's a video that went viral where he's at a train station in England and one of the pianos was donated by Elton John. And it's kind of like in the public, like anybody, you know how like fucking Mariano's has like a piano there that you could fuck around on? He's playing on it. And in the background, because he's using a selfie stick, he's a YouTuber, whatever. There's like these 4 Chinese people like dressed in like communist gear, like and they're just like talking to each other and they're giving out papers. And it turns out they were propagandists for China because they got in a fight with him. They're like, "You can't tape us. He's like, "I'm not taping you. I do this channel all the time. I got 1 million subscribers. Like, get the fuck away. I'm in the middle of a video." And they got into it, and they found out those people were undercover secret agents for the CCP.
What?
Yeah. And
the communists?
Yeah.
Like the protest people?
Yeah. No. Like,
what were they in there doing? Like what were they doing?
They were trying to get people to go to China and join the Communist Party.
Oh, okay.
They were trying to like, hey, you could move here and you could own a fucking house for this little money if you move to Communist China. Like,
yeah.
And what's funny is like, I don't know if you know this. Did you hear about how like I don't know if it's the minister, the president, that one of the guys in China, the president, he had a phobia of Winnie the Pooh. So now every video onward with the piano, he plays in a Winnie the Pooh costume.
Yeah.
Because he made it his identity. But it's crazy because that's what they were. So here's
shout out John Cena too with the CCP. For those that know.
So here's a crazy conspiracy theory. I don't believe in conspiracy. I don't follow that shit. That's not my thing. But here's a theory that I fucking realized that I thought was kind of creepy after seeing that video. Me and my wife, we love going to like Savers, Goodwill, just finding like these treasures, whatever that nobody finds, right? I went to this Goodwill and I found this watch that was, you know what Mao is?
Yeah.
It was a Mao wind-up watch. And I knew it was like official Chinese communist because there was characters and there was the star on the back and it was like written, this is the CC, like official CCP. And when you wind it, his hand like... kind of like Zeke Hiles, you know? And I was like, dude, I saw that. I was like, this is going to be worth a shit ton of money. So I bought it and I put it on Amazon. And you know what's fucking nuts? Because we were talking about how like they're trying to spread people to go into China. Every person, there was at least 24 people with that same watch on Amazon who found it at Goodwill and who wanted to sell it for more.
Oh, it was an idea. It was a new ploy of theirs.
I mean, it seems like it's like, let's spread this idea through donating to Goodwill.
Make fake old watches.
Yeah. It just seems crazy that everybody was the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean...
See, you know what's funny that I mentioned conspiracy? It just reminded me what I was going to say before. The thing about people who are overly political in America... It's the same thing how silly conspiracy theorists are. The reason why is because, like, you know what's funny is, like, when I was a kid, I pre-internet, do you know who Jesse Ventura is?
Yeah.
He wrote a book called Conspiracy Theorists, and it just had the top, like, 10 awesome ones. You know, JFK, Nixon, the Bermuda Triangle, Roswell, right? And back then, it wasn't really a conservative thing. It was just kind of like, hey, here's this fucking crazy shit they covered up. Let's talk about it, right?
It didn't even become a conservative thing until like 2016.
Yeah, because of Alex Jones. But you know,
oh yeah, is that 2016? Alex Jones?
Yeah,
2015.
Yeah,
Sandy Hook and all that. I feel like
it
must. Yeah, I guess it was 2016. Yeah.
But you know what? Like political people and like conspiracy theorists have in common is like everybody. When I said earlier, I'm like, you have the privilege in this country to just get the fuck out. Everybody is like, I want to make you aware. Bro, we're aware. Do something. Nothing's stopping you from enlisting in the Ukrainian army. Yeah. Nothing's stopping you from going to Gaza. You just, let's make more people. That's the same thing with conspiracy theorists. It's funnier with conspiracy theorists because the whole conservative thing is kind of like, I'm alpha, I'm going to do shit about it. Well, all you're doing is bitching. Like the vote was stolen or whatever, Sandy Hook, the frogs are gay. Okay, what are you going to do about it? You know, like, what are you going to do about it? You're going to keep talking about it? Like you're...
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it better when it wasn't aligned with conservatism and it was just a fun thought experiment. Yeah. I think everything should be a thought experiment. We should always think that way. I think that's the scientific way to think. Actually, to take everything as an experiment and think of everything as what if this was the possibility and then take that to its fullest extent. That's good. But then the problem is it gets aligned with conservatism, and also you have all these people online who take advantage of that. And like, there's so many of these figures who it's like the Andrew Tates of the world, where I cannot figure out where it's just like character comedy. It's almost the same thing where it's like, where does the character start? And then where does like the actual person start? And I just don't know, because he's so consistent with the character that it might just be who he is, but I'm almost positive, like Fresh and Fit, these guys, if you know them. It's all like, you guys are such a fucking, it's so obvious what you're going to do, or you're going to do the opposite thing, and that's going to be the crazy thing. But it's so, you're predictable in that. And like, that's how all these people are. And it's like and then they get aligned with the right and conservatism, and it just makes everything look stupid. When there are millions of things you should be questioning, but of course it just gets buried in this bullshit because there's so much bullshit, and then you have the actual government introducing bullshit, and then like them producing disinformation, and the whole thing is just, if you're like a normal person, if you just ignore it, and if you're a crazy person, you try to understand it and you go even crazier. There's nothing to understand if you're trying to pay attention to anything. Well, you know, because it's all bullshit, everything.
You know what's funny is, like, I told this to my, I shouldn't have told this to my brother. Like, I'm one of those, like, you can tell I'm the guy who just runs his mouth and doesn't filter it, whatever. And I told this to my brother when he was at a low point. And the thing is, like how you said, like, it doesn't make sense. It's bullshit. Yeah. What I told my brother, it shows you the difference between if you're half glass full or half glass empty.
That's a good point.
Is I go, every fucking thing that you could possibly muster in your brain, our world is so big, whether it's in a parallel universe or now, it's happening right now. And he was like, what are you fucking talking about? And I go, dude, like, so I noticed that a lot of people who are like politically involved, they have good intentions. They're like, I want to help. But a lot of them, it's because they don't have a help outlet. They don't have a family. They don't have a way to help. Right. So it's sort of like, what's funny to me is that I told him, I'm like, you feel bad. How do I put it? It's like, you only got this much battery. Are you going to spend it on sorrow for this person? Or are you going to spend it on being happy, which actually spreads kindness? You know what I mean? Right, because I was like, think of the most horrific thing right now. Whatever the fuck. I don't want to mention it because I'm a pretty wild person, but I'm just like, pictures somebody right now, right, is sitting on a couch drilling the head of an animal while fucking it in the ass. Whatever, right? Yeah. That's happening.
Someone's got an axe and they're about to swing it at someone's neck.
And you can't do anything about it.
The odds of it not happening are actually less than the odds of it happening. Yeah. And you can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything about it.
And it's only continuing to expand and only continuing to be more of that.
But you know what you do about it? Outrage doesn't help. What you do about it is you lead by example. That's what I say. It's like, you know, I talked about this with somebody else where it was like, I believe in it's like a 80 community thing. Have you ever heard about that?
Maybe. Continue.
So it was like, you know, I used to read about like, you know when you're in school and you fucking learn about like colonists and pilgrims and shit, you're like Wild West. You know what I'm talking
about? Yes, of course.
You know,
the cowboys.
Yeah. I used to always think, I was like, dude, like if I have the balls to not scan shit at the self-checkout and steal $400 worth of shit, what is stopping from somebody in the Wild West just shooting up the whole village?
Yeah.
And you know what it was is they said that was like in hard times where everybody works together, where it's communal, where it's like, yo, you're the egg farmer, I'm the milk farmer, we're gonna trade, because if we don't, then this thing doesn't run. And then so there's this theory that like after 80 people become uncooperative. Like once you kind of have a base set of 80 people. That's like the scientific number of 80 people where like these people will have your fucking back no matter what. And they will run this community together. Once you hit like 81, the guy's like, why the fuck is this guy the leader of this crew? Why is this guy the fucking mayor of this town?
Really?
I could assassinate him right now. And that's kind of what I live by, is that like, you know, you cry, if you cry about the shit that's happened outside of this world, you know, scientifically, you won't even make a fucking difference. But the way you do make a difference is by spreading that kindness in your community, and that spreads on its own. You know what? You know what's interesting, dude? When I was at my bottom, like when my family died off, and I was being like over medicated and shit, right? I go to a therapist who got me into Daoism, and you know what's interesting? You know how they say like Buddhism is like life is suffering. You know what actually is suffering is attachment, right? So it's like I would ask my therapist, I'd be like, how do you reach happiness, right? Well, you don't reach it by chasing it, because when you chase happiness and then it doesn't happen and it lets you down, it fucks you up, right? Like it fucks you up more than you were before, because you have the desire causes suffering. So if you desire happiness, that's going to fuck you up. So he's like, so I'm like, what do I do? He goes, desire peace. Just desire peace. Be like, you know what? I'm going to be at home. I'm going to chill out today, have a coffee, just relax, play some video games. And peace equals happiness. So if you desire, it's like the middleman. If you desire peace, happiness comes with it. Regardless, and it's with anything. It's so fucking weird in like white people Western world to do that, because in our world, especially America, like we're a big thing about pride, about winning an argument or about making a point. And it's like, well, what will bring you peace? Leaving that argument. Who gives a fuck if you lose? Who gives a fuck if this person still thinks there's... Just leave.
Right.
Do what brings you peace, not what brings you pride or winning, you know?
I want to say there's a quote that's happiness is reality without expectation. Mm-hmm. I think that's the quote. Something is reality without expectation, but I want to say that's what it is. And I think that's right, where it's like you just can't have the expectations. You can't expect something else.
Yeah.
The problem is you're expecting an ideal, right? Like, oh, this is happening because there's something better that could be happening. But no, this is what's happening. So that's what's happening. It's fine. Like, you just accept the reality as it is.
Yeah.
And like in my mind, leading my life that way has led to the best things. Always. That's just always been the process in my mind. Is like, if I just don't expect anything out of anything ever, then somehow that will go the right way. And I just have always thought that. And I just think too, like the fact that there's like a butterfly effect to every single choice you have, and that's actual change, is the truth too. Like I think that in that type of thinking, you're thinking beyond the moment in a way. Like you're understanding that this moment feeds into a future moment, but it's the actions in this moment that do that. Yeah. Everything's kind of this weird ripple effect. Yeah. Like one thing that always blows my mind is the way that things affect people that you wouldn't have expected. And it's just, I always think about like the things you can't see. Like I know that maybe so-and-so said this, but just all the little things you can't see. Because there's a million things, especially if you're actually out doing things in the world. Mm-hmm. There's just so much. Like if you could have a snapshot of just everything people say about you, it would be crazy. I wouldn't even want to hear it. I wouldn't even want to know. It. But at the same time, in my mind, that's what everything is all about. Like truly, that's what existence is about. It's about creating some type of resonance is what I was going to say, but like to actually have people say anything at all, you know, because otherwise what is the point of anything? Otherwise, what are you doing? You know what kind of like totally shifted my thinking and like blew my mind that I think you would like is like, so I listened to this podcast about Western dualism. Do you know what that is? Maybe.
A lot of people it's not even spoken about. And it's basically, and that's kind of what I base a lot of my thinking on. There's the holy trinity of fucking goofball bozo religions, and that's Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And the reason why is because those religions, when they spread, it's not the people, it's not the religion, it's that the effect of it bred people in these primitive ways to think that everything is dualism, like two choices. You're with us or against us. You're left, you're right. You're black, you're white. You're evil or good. And it's not that. There's so many more fucking choices. It's like those religions bred a witch hunt. Every single one of those religions, it's like there's the insiders and then there's the outsiders.
Well, I guess the question would be, though, is that just human nature, or is that the religion?
I think that's Neanderthal nature. I think that's like old mentality,
and
of
the
like
other way of thinking is a more mature way of thinking.
Yeah. I mean, that's
more
why
enlightened, one might say.
Yeah. I mean, and the evolution is natural because, I mean, you can see it in like Christianity. There's like a bunch of churches that accept gay people, for example, you know, but it's just like, I guess what I'm saying is like this podcast was about this priest in England, and he was like, every summer I get the same pieces of shit bullies for summer school, and all we do is read Bible verses, and they're just like, fuck you, I'm going to be an asshole, and I'm going to be here next year. It's like, what do we do to change these kids? And one summer he went to China, where there's Eastern philosophy and not dualism, where, you know, Hinduism, Daoism, Buddhism, and they would literally, like, this is what they would do with like 5-year-olds, where us, I went to Catholic school when I was a kid, and they'd be like, this is evil, this is good. Like, there's only two ways, and there's only one way if you think about it, you know, or you fucking melt in hell, you know. And in Eastern philosophy, they'd be like, hey, I mean, I know this is extreme, but I'm using it for the example. They'd be like, hey, Jeffrey Dahmer, what do you guys think of him, you know? And they'd be like, well, how is, like, immediately here, he'd be like, he's evil, right? There, it's like, well, what was his upbringing? What did he go through? What was it like being a gay dude in the 80s and like being ashamed and being attacked?
And I think that's the path towards understanding.
Yeah.
Which is for some reason, that's a controversial take.
Yeah.
I think you've described why it's a controversial take, because of the idea of dualism and what's right and wrong. Because you can't think that way about such and such, because that's the wrong line of thinking. Yeah. That's just what we've defined as a culture. You can't think that way. But I think that's the true way to understand it. And I think that's the reason why there's a cultural fascination behind these people that you'll see pop its head out every now and then.
Well, that's why this whole media shit, they breed these extreme people like whatever, Andrew Tate or whoever would be the opposite of him, because that's what sells. They're like, holy shit, extremism and this duality sells. You don't want to have fucking, hey, my name is Phil, and today I'm going to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich on YouTube. You know, like, you don't want like the average. And that's what people get wrong about the yin and yang, is the yin and yang is actually, it's the gray area.
It's the whole. I think of it as like, yin and yang is meant to be thought of as these two dualities make a whole, and it's the whole that is meant to be understood, not the two things that are separate, but how they come together. And that is when you truly understand, is when you can see it all at once. And then there is yin within yang and yang within yin, right? Yeah, the dot is actually a tunnel about how quickly you can travel from one end to the other. Like if things are too good, right, you might be like, holy shit, everything's going well for me. I have the ability to be a tyrant, and they could quickly shift to the evil, you know? Right. Or you're like, you're so fucking evil. You had such bad, like, I mean, I don't want to fucking toot my own horn, but it's just like, when you have so much shit happen to you, I went through that hole, and I was like, holy shit, this is the stuff I should be grateful for. Like, I know this will sound whatever gay and shit, but like right now, I've never been happier in my life with everything. The place I'm at in comedy, financially, with my family, with my friends, it's just like I'm at peace. Yeah, I'm exactly where I want to be. But it's not just being there, because, you know, nothing is permanent. It's being able to know. It's like I was saying, you surf the wave. Like, I know how to surf now. I know how to do fucking 1080s spins on that wave, you know? Yeah. So it's like, once you know that, you're sort of like, I could go with any flow, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like, honestly, life is meant to be experienced like that. I mean, I just think that's why that stuff resonates with me so much, because I think life isn't meant to be defined, and it's not really meant to be understood.
Yeah.
I think that's why art is so interesting. That's why I love good poetry, because I think it can ignite something within you personally. Like, it's not about what I as an artist am saying. It's actually about how you interpret it. That's more important than anything.
Yeah.
Is the conversation, the silent conversation that exists. In comedy, it's not silent, because it's whether or not an audience laughs. And I think what's so interesting about comedy is that it's so shaped and molded through experience and changed over time. Whereas a song, like we said earlier, that's created and then just spun out for 2 years and just sang over and over again. But they're both doing the same type of thing. They're both translating a thought in a way where, like, an audience, if I think the best art, and I think movies do this too, the best movies, it's like, I couldn't tell you exactly what it's saying, but I can tell you what I think it's saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's cool. A great comedy, I think, does that too, where it walks the line. You shouldn't say exactly what you think.
Yeah.
You shouldn't let us wonder what you think, but just say what's funny about the thing.
Yeah.
That's like the best stuff for me.
It's like that pyramid of, this is really, really fucked up, but man, it's making me laugh my ass off.
Right.
Like, it's okay to laugh at this.
And there's no judgments being made on anything. You're not saying whether or not anything's right or wrong. You're just saying what's funny. I think that's the best approach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Like, I finally accomplished an entire, like, 10-minute bit where it's about, because, like, every open micer, there's the fucking stereotype of, okay, this person's gonna do political shit, edgy shit, or racist shit. Right. And I got to that point where I was like, I think
never can see. They never have the self reflection to understand what they actually are.
like people will come in, they'll be like, oh, you know what? Louis C.K. did a rape joke. I can make that funny.
I've heard that multiple times. Like, I'm not even joking. I've heard that.
Really? It's like you're Louis C.K. 2 months in, but and
it's always Louis C.K. says the N-word too. It's always that one too. Like, he can say the N-word. Anybody can do it.
Dude, that is, it's funny you say that, because I do have a lot of, like, vulgar humor, and it is sometimes scary to see the fans that come out of it that are like, why don't you do more race stuff? And I'm like, I'm gonna shit on you right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
be careful.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm not gonna shit on, I think the majority of the population is that gray area of that yin and yang.
Right. And the thing is, in a way, I'm just thankful that anybody gave a shit about anything I do. Even if it's somebody I don't agree with everything they're saying. I'm happy they at least saw something in me. That's nice. Yeah. But I mean, like, you're doing the right. You have to make a chess move against them. Just tease them a little bit. If you're doing stand-up comedy, it's easy. Like, okay, well, now I'm just gonna make fun of you a little bit. Like, poke the bear. You can do that. See, like, I'm too nice. I would just be like, oh, thanks, man, and he would just start like sig hailing or something. Be like,
dude,
make sure no one's got any cameras and leave real quick.
Dude, it's really goofy.
Because I'd be like, he's a fan. He's a fan. I would be really torn. I wouldn't want to hurt his feelings.
You are like the 7th time this year somebody told me I poke the bear. That's really fucking funny.
You gotta poke the bear sometimes.
Dude, it's oh my god.
See, I wouldn't. I'm too nice. That's my mom and me. I'm just trying to understand everybody. It's that Buddhism. I'm like, oh, but he was a kid once.
You know why I do that though? Because, like, it's funny. I go to couples therapy, and it had a lot to do with. It's a long story, but it didn't really have to do with me and my wife having problems. It was, I met my wife through her best friend, and she married my brother, and then they had a divorce. So it fucked things up in my wife's. She was like, oh, my best friend's going to be my sister-in-law, and we're going to take care of kids together. So, like, that expectation.
It's like why you don't date coworkers. It's like the same thing. Because then they're just in your life forever, and it goes wrong.
Yeah. So she always has that image of the expectation she had of having her best friend as a sister-in-law. But I was going to it, and one of the things they said, what they were talking about, I'm blanking again, dude. It's too much coffee. Fuck.
Sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Fucking. You know, it's okay because I do this to people and it makes me feel better when I forget things. To watch other people forget things and lose their train of thought makes me feel really good. Because I'm like, oh, dude, I'm fucking...
What were we talking about before this?
Sister-in-law.
Before that? What were you saying?
Fuck, dude. You're testing me.
Fuck, man.
It'll come to you very soon. It'll come to you very soon.
All right, fuck it.
Damn, dude.
God damn.
I feel bad because I feel like I let you down.
No.
Because I don't remember exactly what it is that I said. And I can tell it's not going to come to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about how they had gotten together and then they broke up. And how that was weird because of the expectation. Because of that expectation where you had this person and there was going to be this relationship. But instead, and then I had interrupted and said that thing about that's why you don't date coworkers.
Yeah.
But you don't. You're talking before that.
Yeah, it was before that. It's all good. It's all good.
This is why I can't work in radio.
No, it's all
be bad.
Oh, now I remember. I just got it.
Whoa.
This is what I was talking about.
That's
I was
crazy.
talking about how, like, I finally got to that point in comedy where I was like, maybe I can make something on the edge. Like, I got to the point where I was like, okay, how do I get this crowd on my side? By shitting on myself for 5 minutes. And then now I can go to a topic that is that pyramid of, you shouldn't talk about this, but it is funny. And that pyramid was, I was doing a whole bit about domestic violence.
Okay.
Where I was like, I was raised in a house with domestic violence. And I was like, you know, it was just all these one-liners where it's like, Mom, you know, geez, I think wrestling's real because you fucking suck. You lose every match, you know, like just shit like, and then it went to the stuff of like, I think it's, basically the joke was where it was okay.
Your mom's a jobber.
She's the heel. Yeah. But I was going to the point of like with my wife where I was like, as far as like, how can you make domestic violence funny? Where I was joking that my wife is such a klutz that I don't really have to do the job. I just kind of put some Hot Wheels on the floor and she slips on them, you know, like, and it's like, oh, okay, that's goofy. That's fucking ridiculous. And we know he's not serious. And that's how you go there, you know?
Yeah.
But it's whatever. I mean,
maybe we like accidental domestic violence.
Yeah.
They're just pranks. I swear. They're just pranks.
Call OSHA, bro. But yeah, no, we were,
I put a little poison in her coffee the other day. It was so funny.
Yeah.
You guys should have seen her face.
if she had a sip only, she would have been alive. Like it's not my fault. She drank the whole fucking thing, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I barely knew her.
Yeah.
Honestly, we weren't even that close.
Yeah, dude. So you said, I'm sorry, I keep going back to this, but you said it was Eminem?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm glad. I like when people ask me questions about me. It makes me feel nice.
Yeah.
So Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller, I discovered late, but it's funny because I think my music is similar to his, especially like his later stuff, the direction he was going. It's like it just resonates with me. Like it's the same type of thing I see myself doing. So it's interesting that parallel because I didn't really listen to him until 2018, 2019, and then other than that,
So is he like dead by that time?
Oh yeah. It was like right around when he passed away is
Okay.
when I really like discovered him. I want to say right before,
Yeah.
but it might have been right after. And then also Chance the Rapper's great, especially his earlier stuff.
He's from Chicago, right?
Yeah. And like Coloring Book was great. Fucking 10-day mixtape, fantastic. Acid Rap, fantastic. Just so good in terms of songwriting, like in terms of, and also I think that there's something really good about good hip hop where it's not just songwriting, but it's like creating an atmosphere and like a world in a way, just creating something, a little capsule of something. And I think that a great artist is doing that just because their soul and their vision is so strong, it comes through.
Yeah.
Kanye's earlier stuff, fucking so good. I don't like Kanye's newer stuff as much. Some of it's really good, but his earlier stuff is just so good. It's undeniable. Early Kanye, like Graduation and all that. What's the one album? Dark Twisted Fantasy, amazing.
Did you ever listen to KRS One?
I have, but you know what's funny, dude, is like I'm in this weird position where you say like I do old school hip hop and it sounds like old school hip hop with the beat selection. I really don't have that much old school hip hop knowledge. And when I listen to it, it's like, whoa, this shit is so good.
Yeah.
But I haven't listened to most of it. It's so like Nas was so cool to like discover. I listened to Illmatic for the first time like a year ago. That was crazy. Because I think I rap like Nas, so it's funny because it's like a chain reaction. Because Nas inspired Eminem, and Eminem inspired, I think Nas inspired Lil Wayne and Eminem, and then both of them kind of inspire someone like Kendrick. And it's just a chain reaction of all this stuff. And if I were to actually tie it back, it goes to people like KRS-One and Nas and all these people. Because KRS-One, I was listening to him, I was like, holy shit, like this is so good.
I love him because
it's
like,
timeless.
How do I put it? Like, he's kind of like not anti-gang, but kind of like, yo, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
Because they used to call him the teacher, right? And I like Carrot because like every song is a story. He's just telling us. He's like a narrator, you know.
Yeah.
And then so that was like my.
You ever listen to Immortal Technique?
Yeah.
He's so good at storytelling. Like he's probably one of the best of all time at storytelling in hip hop. He'll tell an 8-minute story.
I think Immortal is the one that sampled the Scarface theme. I think
you're right. I think you're right.
But
yeah, he's great. I mean,
I used
Tech
to,
9 I was into when I was younger. I listened to a lot of Tech 9 when I was younger. But you were gonna say?
Did you ever check out Kool Keith?
No.
Dude.
He's a legend though, right?
Dude, Kool Keith is basically Tyler the Creator before Tyler the Creator.
Like 90s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he was just a goofball. Like all these people were talking about, I shot this motherfucker, I got these bitches. He was just like, he'd make rap songs about being a superhero in a comic book.
Okay.
Like it was just goofball shit. Like Tyler. He was, I only remember him because he used to be in a group called Ultramagnetic MCs.
Okay.
They had a song on fucking Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Do you remember that at all? MC
Which
Ultra.
game? Which one? The first one?
I think it was the second one.
I don't remember.
But so my rap like history was like, I loved Eazy-E early on. He was my favorite.
Eazy-E's awesome.
I love that because to me
he didn't even write anything, which is nuts.
He didn't?
I don't think he wrote anything. I think it was mostly written by Dre and the people around him. I think everyone around him. I want to say Eazy-E barely wrote anything, and that's like one of the things about him is that he wasn't even trying to be a rapper. And then other people were like, "No, dude, we're telling you, you're perfect for this."
You know what is such an open micer thing is I tried writing a bit about Eazy-E, not realizing like who the fuck in this audience knows enough about Eazy-E to get this.
Yeah, you gotta be on the south side for that one.
Yeah, I mean, but because there was a lyric that he says he's like, I'm gonna chill here and watch you cup quick, so you can come over here and suck. So Snoop, you can come here and suck my doggy dick.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of weird to say you got a doggy dick when you died from AIDS. Like you should have gotten that checked out way earlier if you got that red rocket down there, you know. But and people are like, what is he talking about? Like, but then I would say at my top, I love Gucci Mane. I got into. I had a buddy of mine who we were like frenemies. Like we'd always fight. And I associated that with him, so I never wanted to get into that. But then I got in it, and I was like, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because Gucci is like, you know, I once again, the horse, he's Aquarius. He's about that, I fly solo, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He does his own fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's and then like 2 years ago, as a joke, somebody told me to check out, they told me, they go, you're the riffraff of comedy. And I checked it out. I got obsessed. I got fucking obsessed, dude.
Riff Raff's pretty funny.
Yeah, dude. The beats are actually. Can I ask you? Do you have like a beat guy that you go to?
There's a couple different because I look at it like that's part of what you're doing as a rapper. If you're not making the beats, you're the person who curates the beats. You're the one who kind of like you. There's a reason you say that. You have like an old school boom bappy sound. It's because that's what I gravitate towards. So there's a couple people in particular that I like more than others, but I'm always looking for.
You want to shout him out? No.
Stoic. He just got a Grammy with Doechii. Like he wasn't receiving the Grammy, but he's one of those people like on YouTube. He just sells his beats. And Doechii made a song that got really popular on social media. She won a Grammy, and so in turn, he has a Grammy-winning song, which is fucking crazy.
And these are people you lease from?
Yeah, and Stoic is so good. I mean, like, because in my mind, what a lot of hip hop beats lack is progression and like a natural, like usually it's verse hook, verse hook, verse hook, or verse hook, bridge hook.
Yeah,
it's always a simple template, and it doesn't really vary much. Maybe there's an outro, intro. It's just not much going on, and the beat doesn't, like, from verse to verse, it doesn't really flow any. Like, you can work with beats like that, and there's so many popular songs that are that.
Yeah.
But I really like when producers introduce moments throughout the beat for you to use.
Yeah.
Because that, for me, makes everything, like, it gives me stuff to work with, and Stoic is so fucking good with that. Like, his song structure is good. The way he builds a song is cool.
Yeah.
And that's why he's fucking has all the success. And his beats inspire me. Like, they literally make me want to write things. They're that good. So yeah, shout out him. He's one of the best.
That's the beauty of playing instruments. I think that was like there's clashing between like rap isn't real music. That's what my boomer racist bosses say. Rap isn't real music. Like, well, this noise sounds better than your music, whatever you want to fucking call it. And like, but the beauty of knowing an instrument is like you translate your feelings directly into the instrument.
Yeah.
Rather than like rap is a series of samples. Like, ready for an unpopular opinion? I was like raised on Pink Floyd, like concept albums. I don't think there's a rap album that's amazing from start to finish. I don't think that exists. Because rap...
Illmatic? You don't think Illmatic is that?
I never listened to Illmatic.
It's a pretty good album. I mean, there's got to be at least one. You really think that? There's not one start to finish?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of albums, like rap albums, with a couple skips for sure, but not one that's start to finish.
But I think that's because rap is, and I say this as like a music producer myself, rap is so easy to make.
Yeah.
That it's the rap game is more about I'm gonna fucking throw 1,000 darts and one of them's gonna get a bullseye.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have 1,000 fucking B-sides and one of them's gonna be a hit by chance. But that's also like how you write jokes too when you go to fucking open mics every night. You go, maybe this will be funny, and it bombs horrendously.
Yeah, I just think the problem is that people don't, in that philosophy, then people don't try their best. Like, you should still, in that, try your best.
Yeah.
Like, I was just looking at my podcast I did with Jason Melton, and he had said during that with the whole 10,000 hours thing, that when you spend 10,000 hours on something, it annoys him because a lot of the people that do that don't understand what that even really means. And I think that's a good point. Like, people do it just to do it, and they don't understand, like, it's about constantly getting better at it in the 10,000 hours, not just doing it for 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, you just can't write, like, but you also do want to over-create. I do agree with that. I just think, like, there's a danger of, like, just putting all your bullshit out there for the world to see, like every single ounce of your bullshit. Like,
I wouldn't.
But you do want to create a lot of shit.
Yeah,
so it's like, but some people just put everything everywhere, and you don't want to do that. You gotta be careful.
Like, you talking about like all the songs?
Just yeah, I guess so. Cause like I don't know, dude, like if you just release a bunch of rap, like if you're a rapper and you release like a bunch of bullshit songs and then one good song. I don't know. I kind of disagreeing with myself as I speak. I just feel like I'm just, again, trying not to be a hater, because I think there's just so much bad rap where people just aren't trying and they're just creating nothing. Like, they're literally basically making nothing. And it makes me mad. Yeah. It's like there's nothing being said here. Yeah. But there's a market for that. So like, I'm wrong. And also, like, I just think you can do something with that. You can create something where you're talking about all those same things, but you are flipping it. And maybe you're right. Maybe there's actually, as I think about it, maybe like 1 out of 100 of those bullshit rap songs is actually good and does say something. And they just had to make all those bullshit songs to get to that one.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the beauty of that. Maybe
but it's like, it's not even so. The second point I'm going to make is that, like, it's not even just rap in general, but the first thing I was going to say is, like, there's a lot of shit. Like, part of why I think new rap is sometimes better than old is because I was like, dude, isn't this weird? Like, thinking about it in the 90s, you know, isn't this weird that here's this guy, whoever it is, talking about all the shit he owns, all the fucking stuff, all the money he's made, to like these peasants that are his fans. Like, I'm like, that's weird. So I think it's become more relatable, you know, like where you
to an extent, but it's just that's such a
where you can make a song about anything.
I think you're painting hip hop with a broad brush, because I think there's still a lot of rap that does that. Like, I think there's still a lot of rap that it's about material things and flaunting material things, and even there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I still think that is a big focus of a lot of like oh, I have this and I have this, flaunting it at the peasants, like you said. I think that still exists.
Yeah.
With a lot, but at the same time, I would agree that there has been a shift the other way too that didn't exist in the 90s, where you at least have a market for relatable. We're just having fun. Like, I'm not trying to. I'm not even talking about all that stuff. Yeah. But like street rap, like, I don't know if you've heard any street rap, but it is exactly that 90s flaunting shit. Like, more violence too, like glorifying violence. That's been there forever. That's never went away. Yeah. It's just where you look. Because I think that there is so much better. Like there's better places to look now that didn't exist before. That's true.
It's like what makes me pay attention to a KRS-One song, because I'm like, it's like, oh, he's telling a story. So I'm basically listening to an audiobook that's a musical.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's what makes him different. Too.
Yeah.
He sticks out.
Like, you know what's funny recently that I started liking now? That it's also because I learned all the instruments that I've learned, I learned by ear. And so because of that, I relate almost more to the sound. You know what I realized is, like, people were telling me to check out Suicide Boys, and I checked them out. And then even like Lil Yachty, I love their beats. Yeah. The lyrics are trash. Like, Lil Yachty is just the same, let's brag, let's slap my cock around in front of you, this is what I got, this is who I fucked.
But they sound good.
Yeah, but the beats I love. And then Suicide Boys, the beats are fucking great, but it's all about, I want to kill myself. It's raining outside. I don't want to go outside.
Yeah, and like, I think a lot of this music, like, that's why I don't like it, because I think it's pure like vibes, like pure vibes only type of thing. And I can understand that. I just don't experience music that way. I can't get with it. But I can understand that, because a lot of people are looking for that. They just want to feel a song. They're not even thinking about what the lyrics are. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, the lyrics just kind of happen to them.
It's funny because it's a transition from, I listen to a lot of black metal too. You know anything about black metal?
A little bit. But not a whole lot. But yeah, I'm familiar.
So it's like a lot of it is problematic, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I listen to it, I don't know any black metal lyrics. I had a person tell me, he's like, you know, this song's about the Holocaust? I'm like, he's screaming. It could be, I thought it was about he burnt the roof of his mouth on a grilled cheese.
I didn't even know he was speaking English in this song.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost the lyrics somewhat, that's what I learned, is when I learn instruments by ear, I knew how to translate my feelings better, you know?
Right. I mean, that's interesting, because I think that's ultimately what you're attempting to do with songwriting, in my mind, is translate a feeling. And I've learned that more and more over time. With like rap, even what I'm supposed to be doing is translating an idea and a feeling, not even the words I'm saying, but like an overall tone that you can kind of understand. And that's how script writing is. Like, when you write a script, you're supposed to have an overall, like, you have the theme, but you also have like the story. So the theme is something else. Yeah. So writing things thematically. And then I thought about it like, people remember you thematically. They remember things thematically. Like if I see a comic, I don't necessarily remember all the jokes he said, but I remember the theme of who he was. Yeah. And it's just like that was like an epiphany for me. It's like everything should be written in such a way. If you can do that right, if you can think like outside of it and think what is the ultimate theme of this thing and then build it out from there.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's easier said than done.
That's why that's why being you genuinely is the best way, because your presentation matches your art.
Right.
And who you are.
Right.
That's why like I get, that's why I get like when I hear like a good Suicide Boys song, I'm like, man, this sounds so good, but it's about hanging yourself. Why?
Right.
Like I would have done these lyrics differently. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's with anything. I was talking about this with another person too, back to talking trash, but they were asking me, they were like, we should book this person. I think this person is funny. And here's the problem is I guess I'm straying away from being a hater, but my problem was that being a comedian, I was like, my brush of who I like is going to get narrower and narrower because I'm finding myself. So it's like, I can respect you as a person, but that doesn't mean I got to love your comedy, you know? And that came off as trash talky. But anyways, we were talking about booking this person. And I was like, oh, her jokes are fucking great. And I didn't realize what bothered me about this person. And what I realized, I was like, this person looks like she's going to cry all the time. Like on stage, she looks like she was crying for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to say that because that's going to make them self-conscious. It's going to be mean. But I was like, that's where the presentation matches how you look.
Right.
Where I was like, I have nuts jokes. It'd be weird if I went up there with a fucking polo and boat shoes,
I mean, I heard, I can't remember who it was, but he does comedy advice videos. And he was saying how you don't want to, if you're on stage and you're waiting to get off the stage, and that's what you're thinking the whole time is what a nightmare this is, then that's what you're acting like, and the audience picks up on that. They can understand. You don't align with what you're not selling us what you're actually thinking, and we can see through it. I like to think that people have like a reality meter in their brain. Like you can just sense how real somebody is being. It's built within you. It's a survival mechanism. So when you see somebody who's being ingenuine, it's almost like an alarm's going off in your mind. Like there's just something's afloat. Like bullshit in the air, but I can't figure out where it's coming from.
Dude, and it's so funny because people talk about now, like 2020s were the generation of transparency. Like that
that's a mixed bag. I would say that's a mixed bag.
Well, I mean, with all this shit from previous generations, it's like you're finding out that all your idols were rapey.
Yeah, I guess that's if you're looking at it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even like you know what I love, dude. I had a comedian tell me, I was like, something weird happened, and I don't know what happened. They just stopped, and I was like, yo, dude, like, is everything cool, And they said, well, I'm kind of taking a break from social media. I go, oh, okay, I understand, And I have a good friend that said that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're taking a break. They'll be cool. They're going through some shit. They'll tell me later. And they did. But this person, they were like, yeah, I'm taking a break. And I'm like, oh, transparency. They're the first person to view my story every fucking day. You're a hater, dude. You're obsessed with me in a bad way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's somebody who keeps their eye on you to be like, I want to know how much angry I am that they're getting successful, Right. And that's in everything. Like I think Nick was talking about on here that the older you get, you just got to be okay that people are not going to be cool with you. And that's cool. Like I don't remember a time people were cool with me. Yeah. Every person I'd be like, yo, dude, are you, did I say something to piss you off? It's like, no, we're fine. It's just, you're weird. That's every time.
I don't know. See, I just can't figure it out because I don't give a fuck what people think of me. I truly don't. Like, I just know I've learned to only share the correct amount of information. Like, if you ask me a question, I will answer the question, honestly. But I've just learned, like, people get mad about stupid shit. It's just the way it is. Like, so and I don't know. I forgot what the fuck I was saying. I lost my train of thought now. What the fuck were we just talking about?
Yeah, no, we were talking about how like that haters will, like, the older you get, the more you don't give a shit.
The older you get, yeah. Because like this whole idea of like once you turn 40, once you turn 30, you stop caring. I didn't care when I was 12. I swear to God. Like I'm one of those people. I really don't care. And I just think it's like, I think that's actually emotionally mature of me. Because I think one thing I'll see in other people is they just always care about things that I don't think ultimately will matter. And it just doesn't fucking, dude, who fucking cares? Like it doesn't matter what I think about one specific thing. Who fucking cares what you think of? You could tell me the craziest thing in the world right now. It doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't really matter, because in the end it's just a thing. It's just a thing that exists. Like I can't change it. I can't change you. Like and people I think get this crazy idea like they have to denounce things, and they have to do that.
It's hard not to. You know what it is though? I was that person where like I don't care. You don't care until you do. Until life hits you with a left jab. You know, because like I was like, I don't ever want to be like my parent. I had a like diagnosed narcissist as a parent, and like they fucked with me. They played games. They manipulated, you know, and I was like, I don't ever want to pass any of that curse on. And then it was like, now that I got a stepkid, there's so much shit that I invest emotion into that I'm like, I shouldn't care about this, but I do.
Right.
Because it's shit like, you know, like my stepkid, he does not have any friends. 0. And he's okay with it. And I ask him, I'm like, why don't you fucking go out and do it? He goes, all my friends are online. Because he creates, he's like a Roblox creator, and he's made a shit ton of money doing it. And he's teaching me how to do it. That's how fucking, he's the man in the house now. But, you know, I asked him, I'm like, does it not bother you that like you're missing out? Or, I mean, he's going to be 18 in like this month. I'm like, don't you want to go out and fucking go to the mall or get ice cream or get fucked up or go into traffic with your fucking e-bike and flick people off? Like, and he's like, all my friends are online. That's what I care about. And to me, it was so hard to let go of that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you let go of, we like to, this is what we're doing. We sit down and we fucking shoot the shit. Like when we're in a nursing home,
lead by example.
This is gonna be fucking weird.
I think it's lead by example. It's like what you said before, because like even though you disagree with what he's doing, I think the only way you could possibly show him the reality and the truth that you, as you see it, is to do it and to exist in that. I think that's the only way. Like maybe force him to hang out with you and be like, all right, no Roblox. We're going out and getting ice cream for 2 hours. Yeah. That's what's happening. But that's the way. He wouldn't like it at first, but maybe that's the way. You just force him to do it.
But that's the thing, is that it isn't about force. It's about like, that's the way society's shifting.
Right. Well, I just mean like, just because it's a natural difference in philosophy. Like he just looks at it differently than you do. And maybe you could get him to see your way, maybe, but you'd have to get him in the situation to actually do that, because he's not going to do it himself as he's expressed, right? And it is weird. Like it's weird to think of that, because I reject that too. I don't think that's real. I think there's a certain amount of reality that exists through that. You can communicate with your friends through that medium, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And that's just the truth.
But I think it's his generation of friends and whatever, they decided what's important to them,
right?
And that's what they went with.
And that's not, you can't invalidate that. Like that is definitely the reality they exist within. That's that's the thing I have trouble middlemaning. Is how do we find the middle ground between this? There's a Louis C.K. joke where he's like the moment you become a parent, everybody tells you what a shitty fucking parent you are, right? Who isn't a parent, you know, because you don't know what it's like. You will never get a perfect child. But the thing that, like, you know, was a funny thing is I fucking like, so you know, like how you're saying, like, the older you get, you don't care. One of the hills that I was not able to die on, I couldn't believe he was failing gym in high school. I'm like, how the fuck do you fail gym? I remember when I was in gym class, I moved to this yuppie town, like from Chicago.
So the teacher there, he was like this meathead guy that was like, if you had a piercing, he was like, I'm gonna catch you're gay, you know, like he was just really fucking jock, you know.
Yeah.
And so I would just fucking sit on the side and roast people in the gym class, like at least show up. He was failing gym because he wouldn't wear the uniform, and I was like, why the fuck wouldn't you? And then and here's what I'm saying is no amount of parental influence is going to change society's shift, because right after that, it was during lockdown, so I was Ubering, and I was Ubering a student to his school. She was like a senior. And I'm like, can I ask you something? Is it normal for you fucking kids to just not want to wear your uniform? Like, why the fuck? Why out of the whole class, why is my kid not wearing? She goes, nobody wears their uniform anymore. Because lockdown made them so self-conscious that they got fucking acne on their forehead, or they wear their hoodie and they just like zip up and nope, I'm not exposing the rest of my ugly ass body for social media. And I'm like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I can't relate to. You know what I mean?
Whoa. Yeah. Right. When you can't even imagine, I mean, that's always the generational gap, right? You can't ever imagine what it's actually like to grow. I mean, I think now it's so hard to conceptualize. I mean, it's a tired topic. Everybody's already said it a million times, but with social media and just the way that it works on your brain, it affects everybody. It affects people. I remember my dad, when he discovered social media, like he hadn't used any of it for a long ass time. And then like 2018, 2019, he discovers Facebook, and he gets sucked in just like everybody else. It's just how it goes. As soon as you find it, it'll get you on whatever
Dude.
you're interested in. It'll show you 10 million of that thing. My dad always got those people who would harass the cops, like going up to them, like I forget what you call those guys, but they would show up to like the post office and say, I'm legally allowed to be here, and just post up at the post office for filming all the employees and saying like, I'm legally allowed, it's within my rights. And then the cops show up and say, can you please leave? And he's like, and they cause a scene and then they blame the cops. It's really funny, but like these people they're just harassing cops. They're just wasting cops' times. Like there's a better way to get the message across.
It's like, dude,
I think it's First Amendment something. I wish I knew what these people are called. And my dad would show him this, like, this guy's proven our rights. Like my dad was with those guys. He liked those guys.
Oh God.
But point being, Facebook will show you exactly what you need to see. And I think like kids now, I mean, just the fact that kids can pick up an iPad before they can speak and buy things through an app. Yeah. They understand how to buy the thing, but they don't even know how to say words. That is going to create this whole new generation of people that are socialized differently. Like what you're describing with your son is just the very beginning of that shit. Oh, all my friends are online. That's the beginning. Pretty soon it's all my friends are AI. They're not even real people. That's where we're going. And
dude.
Your best friend's going to be AI, and you are going to love them. And you don't think you're going to love them, but you will.
You know what's funny about this is like, so I mentioned that like I kind of shit on the blue collar environment that I was raised in.
Yeah.
Like these stupid, because I'd work in these factories where I was always the biggest weirdo. So it'd be like, man, you guys know about all this gay and trans going on? Let's ask Phil. Like I'm the fucking representative, and just because I'm weird, because so it's funny that
what do you think about the man beating up the woman in the Olympics, Phil?
Yeah. So it's like, what makes me sad is like, I think because I grew up 90s, I have a bit that I write about it, but I'll go into it in detail that like the pendulum, the yin and yang is always swinging. Yep. And it was like, I go into this bit where I go like, okay, in generations, boomers are just jolly fucking dumbasses. But they're good. They're adorable dumbasses because they don't know it. They're uneducated.
Flawed
and
characters.
It's not even being hateful. It's just like what boomers were like. It was like there's one way to do it, and that's the right way. Because they weren't educated. So then the pendulum of that bred Gen Xers who were like, "Fuck you. There's other ways to do it. You're just ignorant." So then Gen Xers would do the absolute opposite of that, just in spite. And they're now the poorest generation because they're like, you know what? I'm going to do shit the wrong way just to piss you off. I wonder why my bank account's empty. You know?
Yeah.
And so then, and I think 90s were kind of the balance of we can see both sides and come and think for yourself. And that's what I think is lost today is like, it's not cool to be an individual. Because you know what's really fucking sad? So I was talking about this, like, just with a liberal friend. They're like, why do you think there's this spike in trans people out of nowhere, right? And of course, people say like, oh, it's like, the acceptance thing. I think that 80% of them are not trans. Because
hot take number 4.
Because get this, because every generation, and this isn't like an opinion. I've had people tell me this too, where like every generation had like the rebels, right? It was like, here's the mainstream.
Oh, like punk.
Yeah, it was like hippies was 60s. Then it was like greasers, 70s, like biker guys, right? 80s was punk. 90s was maybe like grunge or even rap, one might argue.
Mm-hmm.
Now...
counterculture.
Yeah. Now it's like these poor kids... They're like, I don't fit in anywhere. What do I do?
Yeah, well, I mean,
maybe I should just become trans.
Yeah, in my mind, that's always been, and it's annoying because it gets skewed as anti-trans and anti-this and anti-that.
Oh, what I'm saying gets skewed as it?
Yeah, that argument that it's endangering kids. I mean, because that's usually when people are talking about what they don't like with that issue. They're referring to children and the effect it can have on children. That's usually what people are saying. But then that gets turned into, oh, you don't like trans people at all. And that's not usually what these people are saying.
No.
Because I've felt that way since the issue became an issue. And it was so much less of one back in like 2013, 2014. I think that's when it became something that really people started talking about. And it's one of those things where it starts in the colleges. And if you look at how it's going in the colleges, you'll see how it's going to play out in the mainstream in about 10 years. That's exactly what happened. Because in 2013, 2014, this is the conversation that was happening in colleges. And now it's the conversation that happens everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it just, and that's further proves what you just said. Yeah. That it is something that kind of, I don't think it's possible that these people have always been around and they finally have a way to represent themselves. That just doesn't sound possible. No. Well, and I think there was a girl who wrote a story. Who wrote a story? She did a book and she did interviews about it. But it was like her whole thing was it happens in clusters with a lot of these kids. Like one kid will go trans and then 3 or 4 of them turn trans all at once, and they're all friends in this group. And that's not something that would happen if it's not a social phenomena. And that's the question. Is it a social phenomenon?
Exactly. It's like one kid gets Star Wars merch, and then the other ones follow.
And I should say, too, the whole thing, the waters get muddied by the fact that there is a biological thing where people are born as both sexes. That exists. But that number never changed, and it's a very small percentage of people.
But I also think, I'm not saying it's endangering kids. What I'm saying is, like, it's even bad for trans people that, like, I'm actually this movement is for me. Here's these fucking pretenders because they don't know where the fuck to fit in.
Right, because there are people who genuinely do have to do those things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, people are genuinely trans. I'm just saying that it's sad that today there's no like embracing of being an individual.
Right.
So if you're an individual, you just get outcast from the group, and then like I knew people who, like, my own kid did this, and even his friends, where they pretended online that they were trans just because they wanted somebody to talk to about things they didn't want to say to me or their therapist. Like they were, and and you know what? It's controversial because people would be like, "Oh, is he getting groomed?" He wasn't getting groomed. He just He just wanted a kind human being that won't judge him, that he could talk to, that isn't going to be me, his mom, or his therapist. And so he just faked this thing because he was like, "Hey, you know, you accept me." That's what I think is sad. It's like. You know what I mean? Like, you know how many people have told, you know what I can't stand is like when people are like, wait, you're for abortion, but you're for guns. It's like, it's called being an individual, bro. Right. Like because you're just two-sided.
I was going to say that too.
That's the dualism
I
thing.
think that the problem is like these things are sold as individualism. So you're selling the idea of being trans as an individual choice. But then if you become trans, you have to subscribe to all these other philosophies, or else you're not part of us. Same thing with most of an exclusive group. Like, yeah, we're inclusive until you say this, this, or this, which in my mind just flies in the face of the whole thing. Like, you should be able to think whatever you want, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Like, why is it the case that, and that is, in that sense, it's kind of sad that you're someone to even feel like you'd have to do that, right? That's kind of sad that you'd feel like you'd have to create a situation like that to feel comfortable with somebody.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and that's interesting, because I feel like that's probably is how trans people float through the world. They're probably always thinking, oh damn, like, and I think that's it is like a chicken or the egg thing again, because I think we're all a reflection of ourselves. So I don't know how much of that is created in the mind and how much of that is truly the world is judging you, and the world is judging these people, and they feel that all the time. Because you can create that illusion in your mind and then play that out and then create this whole reality surrounding it, or people really are judging you, and you're right. It's like you just don't know how schizophrenic you are sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel so bad for these people, because they must be floating through the world all the time like, oh, is so-and-so judging me? And that's how they're thinking. And like, that's, if you were gay and you were closeted, that's how you're thinking. Like, oh, do they know? Oh, do they know? Like, oh my God, what a fucking torture that reality would be. And so then when you do find somebody who you feel open with, what a security that would be. Right? Oh, I can finally say all these things. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of like being open and honest and inviting to people. It's like, it's a lead by example thing. You'd be amazed at things people will say to you if you're just kind enough, you know, if you're kind enough to them. I've never thought about like creating a false scenario to try to open myself up to somebody. That's such an interesting concept to me. Like, I don't feel like I can share with people in my regular life. How could I create a false persona in which I could share more? That's interesting. Yeah, it's just an interesting thing.
It's like that movie Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah. But creating a whole, like, I could have a whole side character in my life. I could be this guy.
I mean, I just think it's sad. I think that's why, like, things like rock bands or even rap, whatever, art in general, it's become less like what's the word, like groundbreaking, because you know, like, dude, I went to the fucking movies the other day. Everything on the fucking board is a re-release, remaster, redoing.
It's an old IP. Yeah. Nothing's a new IP.
What the why can't you make something new? What happened? And you know what? People will argue. It's like, oh, like somebody who's like conservative will be like, oh, it's because the woke mob doesn't allow this. Bro, you could still make independent films.
It's funding, though. It's about getting funding. Because, I mean, like, the thing is, what's interesting to me is it's always been going this way, but now it's just hit this head where I think you just have to be somebody who's super established to get funding from a major studio. Otherwise, you're just kind of, what are you going to do? I mean, and as a screenwriter, like all these people with AI now, everything is so homogenous and so like, what's a safe choice? What can we put money behind? That was starting to happen in the 90s, but you still had artsy movies. Even in the 2000s, you had that. But I always tie it to comedy movies, because I'm always thinking, when are comedy movies going to come back around and be something again? And someone was just telling me, Hannah Belmont, she was telling me horror movies are actually in like a heyday right now. And that's a great point. Horror movies are like the one where they're doing okay. Every single other film genre is just kind of like void of creativity. What's going on? Horror, there's still original shit that's happening in horror. It's actually still going on, which is, it puts hope in my heart, because the reality craver within me. I want movies to be good. And there's so much good shit. There's so many good things you can do, but it's just always some big director that happens to make that creative movie. It's never some new guy that comes around, because how else do you get the money to do it? You just don't see that anymore. You never see someone make a directorial debut and it's a new movie.
Happy Gilmore 2 was awful.
I know. I didn't watch it.
It was okay. It wasn't funny, but it was a nostalgia jerk off.
Would you say that it is what you would expect for a 2025 Adam Sandler movie, but not what you would expect for Happy Gilmore 2? Would you agree with that assessment?
I think it was worse than that.
Oh, no.
I think it was worse than that. Yeah.
Oh.
It was one of those things where it kept showing clips of the first one, and I was like, dude, this is filler. Like, why are you doing? But I did see Naked Gun recently, and have you ever seen those movies? And then
No, but that's the with the guy from the Vacation movies. What's his name? Or not Vacation movie guy. Big comedy actor though. What's the guy's name?
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, he died, so they have Liam Neeson as him. Dude, as good as the classics. I was fucking laughing the entire time.
When did the new one come out?
It was like a week ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about this then.
No,
I didn't know
dude,
they were doing that. Wow,
Yeah.
and it's good?
Yeah, it was really good.
Because I think comedy, you can still turn it around. There's never been a spot where you couldn't turn it around.
Well, I think they had the, have you seen Airplane?
Yeah, that's a classic.
That's Leslie Nielsen.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Don't Call Me Shirley.
Yep.
They got the same writers and they wrote the same fucking type of jokes.
I'm hoping that's what the new Spaceballs is going to be, but God knows.
Oh, I didn't even know there was.
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
And they announced they're going to bring back a couple of the OG actors. Obviously, some of them have passed away. But yeah, that's a risky choice.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the way they're promoting it is like, oh, it's gonna be a return to the original Spaceballs humor. So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Because I mean that era of comedy is a gold mine. Oh my God, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you could bring that tone of comedy back, that would be so great. I think people want it. I think people want comedy to stop being like shock value and crazy and just be a comedy movie. Just have
I like all that
moments.
Farrelly Brothers shit, or the Kingpin is me and my wife's favorite movie. I don't know if yours, or Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber is fucking one of the best comedy movies of all time.
Something About Mary.
Yeah, yes, Something About Mary is so good because it's an actual movie. Those movies are also actual movies with plots and characters you care about that are also just legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the thing that a lot of modern writing gets wrong is that you shouldn't be writing. You should be writing a natural outgrowth of story. It should all make sense. It shouldn't be, I need to get to point Z. How do I get there? And then just everything is the means achieving the ends. It should be the means justifying themselves. Like, that's why Breaking Bad, I think, is the perfectly written show. Because, when you look at them talk about how they wrote the show, that's what it is. We were all sitting in a writer's room. We never had any plan. It was always, what would this character do next? What would make the most sense? And somehow that organically turns into a show that ties all the knots together. Because you were thinking that the whole time is, oh, this will all come together in the end, but we're not quite sure how. That's probably the better way to do it.
Yeah. People who it's funny because I was thinking about movies now. I thought you were gonna say that they got to be inclusive of everything.
Well, that's the thing too. That does exist.
Yeah,
everything's got to get cast a certain way, and it's such a divisive topic that people won't admit that it's real, but it is a problem.
It is. You know what? But what people don't understand, back to that yin and yang, is that the extreme needs to happen to balance. That's what people don't understand.
You familiar with the whole Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer? The thing was, I can't tell how much of it is the people who comment are just the people who get upset about bullshit. But there was a big thing where they made the Silver Surfer a girl, whoop-de-doo. And so the thing that the audience is saying is, why would you do this? And then the other half of the audience is saying, no, it's canon. So but it's not canon. It is a bullshit. We're just turning this person into a female
for the fuck of it.
And it's not
bullshit.
for the story, and that's why it annoys me. You're not making choices for the story. You're making choices for this meta thing that surrounds the movie.
Yeah,
that's not what you should be doing if you're trying to do storytelling. And the people who are criticizing it are right, but they're automatically seen as wrong because they're being inclusive. They have a woman, but it's if you're a fan of the comics, there was a female Silver Surfer once in one comic book, one panel. It's imagine if the Silver Surfer was a girl, and that's what the people who are justifying it in the comments are saying. And then of course you're gonna have the crowd who's who really cares if it's a boy or a girl? But it's the people who are really fans care.
Yeah.
And now you got Black Snape coming around. We're gonna see how that one pans out.
Yeah.
Black Snape. It's just oh my God. It's just an endless thing.
It's a pointless change. It is a pointless change.
It's pointless, and that's why I don't like these things. I think if you're doing it just to generate conversation and just to be inclusive, it's why? I mean, why do we have to?
Why can't you write an original story that is epic with That's inclusive.
And that
from scratch.
What I think is it's ultimately insulting. That's what I think. I think if you're the group of people that you should feel pandered to. You should feel as if they are trying to appeal to you.
You're
they're patronizing you. They think you're stupid, and they're trying to appeal to that because they think you're stupid. And they're proving to you they think you're stupid. If they thought you were smart, they would create original narratives with new characters.
Yeah.
With people representing people like you.
Yeah.
That's what they would do. Not take all these old characters that were already something else and reformat them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. It actually means something if you create a new one, like Black Panther. I would say that was actually empowering. That was great because it was a black character originally.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. Is it was black empowerment. So you take that and you put it in a movie. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Good job. But it's not usually what's happening. And And it becomes an impossible thing because you can't say this stuff without the other person just thinking in their mind, oh, so you just don't like when they cast. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's what they're hearing.
You know, I also did learn the flip side. Like, I never really gave a shit. I was never like a fan who would have that kind of outrage until. Do you like Silent Hill?
I'm familiar with the series. I haven't seen all the movies, but I've seen some of them. So
like the first Silent Hill video game on PlayStation, that was the scariest, darkest shit.
PS1.
Yeah, that I ever had. Also, because I played it on PCP in 8th grade. But anyways, so maybe Super Mario World would have been the scariest shit on PCP. But point is that story was perfect. And then get this, when they made the movie, so the premise of the movie is there's this haunted town. Okay, the premise of the story of the video game is there's this haunted town with ghosts, with spirits that you heard your wife got, or your wife disappeared in. So you're going there with your daughter, and the daughter runs out of the car, and she gets lost in the fog, and that's the premise of the movie, right? Or the premise of the game. They made the movie. Suddenly, it's the woman looking for them, and then, like they just changed one gender of one character. It's like, dude, that's trolling.
Yeah.
The entire movie is exactly the same, except we're going to change this gender. Like, that's so, you know what I mean? Imagine, like, think of the perfect movie, whatever the fuck it is. If it's, like, the best horror movie ever to me is The Shining. Imagine if, let's just release The Shining exactly how it is, but now we're going to AI generate a cock sticking out of Jack Nicholson's forehead just to distract you.
You didn't see the latest season of Black Mirror, did you?
No.
That was, one of the episodes was we're going to recast an old movie that's a male lead, but we're going to have a black female be the lead, and she's just going to she puts on this thing in her head, and she just goes into the movie, and she's got to reenact everything the guy says word for word.
Yeah.
So it's like it all makes sense. And I think that's something they even addressed during it. Is like, well, that doesn't really make sense, like this character being this character at this time. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. The AI, they're all going to register you as the thing. So it's basically exactly what you said. Like, it's so out of place.
Yeah.
But they just play it like it's normal. And I think that is where we're headed. It's just like Chris Pratt is the lead in fucking 14 going on 40, and he's having a love affair with Mark Ruffalo, and it's fucking awesome. Like, that's a movie we're going to be able to watch real soon.
Yeah.
He's turned anybody into anybody. I wouldn't even be able to resist. Like, can you imagine turning everybody into Christopher Walken just for a bunch of fucking movies? Just turning people into Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of random celebrities that'd be so funny.
Imagine turning your whole friend circle into a movie, you know?
Yo. I mean, that's frightening.
You know what I'm excited for? Because, dude, I'm sorry, but I can't stand, like, the idea of just reading. I just never... I used to love to read. I wrote papers so well in I went to Eastern Illinois University. I was on their website because I won awards for writing papers. I'm that Polak that speaks better English than American. But when I didn't have to read for a class, I just never enjoyed reading. I can't wait until you can just put an entire book into a fucking AI generator, make it into a 2-hour movie, so I don't have to sit there for 8 hours reading a tree's foreskin. Like, I don't know, but
no, you're right. I mean, that'll be crazy, and we're not that far away. You can already get it to give you a script for a movie. Like, if you gave it pages of a book and said convert this to a script, it will. Yeah. So it's just a matter of that turning into actually generating a movie, which, as we speak right now, because I mean these things all age poorly because it advances so quickly. Yeah. Where we are right now, we just started getting AI video. Like, I pay for Midjourney, and they offer AI video now, which it's just crazy, dude. I mean, that didn't exist months ago. You couldn't take a picture and turn it into a video. Now you can. And like, you could kind of 3 to 6 months ago, but it wasn't something everybody could do, and it was okay. Now you can really do it, and that's just scary. Because what's so scary about it is I know I won't be able to resist just turning books into movies. I already do this bullshit with the text. Yeah. One thing I think it's useful for is so say you do read a book and you want to remember something from it, or you want to remember anything. You just give it the information. You say, create a quiz based on the information I just gave you. Don't give me the answers until I have the opportunity to answer it myself. Go. And then it'll give you a quiz. Yeah. And it's like, that's fucking perfect. Because if you create the quiz yourself, you know the answers. But if you don't create the quiz, it's an actual quiz. Yeah, so like, you could actually use it to learn. And I can only imagine expanding that. Like, I think when I was talking with Tito, he was telling me they're starting to use it in schools. Yeah. That's just going to be fucking crazy. Your teacher is going to be an AI. Okay. Holy shit. So I'm going to tell you something that, I don't know, it blew my mind as a music nerd, okay? Do you know, this is fucking wild. So I'm always, my music friends used to always call me, like, they say, anything Phil makes, it's polish a turd recordings. Because what I would do, remember I was telling you, like, I have all these programs that I use to avoid paying anything, right? Do you know what Pod Farm is? No. So here's what's fucking nuts. I was arguing with my buddy Bewey about AI and ChatGPT and shit. I need to make a video on this because I don't think people know this. Pod Farm is, before Pod Farm, have you played any instruments or anything? A little bit, yeah. So why? Like when you play guitar, sometimes, like, even like I'm about to see Oasis this month. They'll have like 20 guitar pedals, right? Okay. And then they have 20 guitar pedals with different tones, and then they play it through a certain amp, and then they have a different wah pedal, and then they play it through different pickups, right? Pod Farm, the company Line 6, made this interface that you plug in through a USB, and you just plug your guitar straight into it. It's got everything in a program. And it's really funny the way they avoided lawsuits, because, like, for example, my favorite amp, like there's Marshall, whatever, Line 6, Crates. My favorite amps are Orange. They're called Orange, the company. Yeah. Like a lot of hippie bands play them. In the program, it's called Citrus. It's got all the same settings, but it's called Citrus. So they do everything. And it sets up all the, like, it has shameless. It has pre-settings. Like, if you want your guitar to sound like Nirvana on this song, then there's, play Come As You Are guitar, right? Huh. And what's crazy is Pod Farm, I think, stopped coming out in like 2012. Bro, I went on ChatGPT the other day. I'm like, dude, I love this band Kublai Khan, or I love this band Slaughter to Prevail. Right. How can I set up my Pod Farm in a chain so that it sounds like this band? And it does it for you. Whoa. So you don't got to fucking buy any other guitar gear ever again, because the ChatGPT will show you the chain. Yeah. And the other thing too that I did that I thought was wild. So I have I call it my Wii bike. It's a mini moto. It's basically a scooter engine on a pocket rocket. So it's like a little bit than a crotch. I have to have it because crotch rocket, I'll kill myself in a week. Like, I'm too fucking crazy. And it was overheating because the transmission is really, like, it's really too fast for how small it is, right? So I was like, wait a minute, what if, I mean, I know this is pretty redneck, but what if I drilled holes in this? And I go on ChatGPT and they're like, not only is it normal to drill holes in this, but there's actually
methods where people like actually like factory molded fans that you can put on your transmission so that it self airs out. And I go, okay. And it says, would you like to tell me where to drill the holes to be the most air efficient? And it made a whole blueprint where I should drill my motorcycle. I'm like, dude, you gotta love ChatGPT. You gotta love AI.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I know.
You know?
And it'll only get better. That is one of the crazy things it does is it knows what you, like it gives suggestions of what you should ask next. And you're like, yeah, you know what? That is a good idea. Where should I put those holes?
Yeah.
Like fucking, I wasn't going to ask that, but now I am.
You know what I love? And this is definitely cheating. It's not stealing, because what I would do is, just to fuck around, I would like write one of my bits into ChatGPT. I'd be like I'd write my Jiffy Lube bit, and then I'd be like, okay, write a bit about being Polish in the style of what I just wrote, and it'll write jokes in your style for you. So it's not like I'm stealing, but I'm having AI write my own joke, you know?
And that's the thing is there's so much more. Like, if someone will hear that and they'll be like, oh, that's cheating. That's not fair. There's so much more that happening than you realize. That's most of the shows you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Most of them are fucking half written by AI already. We're already there.
I would never do that, but also the thing that's great about comedy is,
well, it's always you can find something through doing that.
Well, the thing too is that like I would say 60% of comedy is the actual live performance.
Yeah.
So you could I could type in there, write me nothing but Louis C.K. shit. If you're a horrendous performer and you're whatever monotone, you're not gonna fucking be good.
I think that would be a fun experiment. Like if, like maybe someone like me, right? I've never done comedy before. I've never went out and done comedy.
Dog.
If I had AI just write everything for me, and I just relied purely on my personality to sell it, just to see how far I could get, and then like make sure to film along the way, like do it as a social experiment. Like don't reveal it until way deep into it.
So I will call this motherfucker out. I don't even give a fuck about this trash talk. There's a guy named David. You can do the research if you really want the tea. But anyways, 2 years ago, I was at a mic in the Burbs, right? And suddenly, randomly, some of you might remember, a rapper came up. Ooh. He was this lanky white dude with a man bun. I would not expect him to be a rapper. You know what I mean? He looks like the kind of dude that fucking makes cheese out of his ball sweat, you know, like he was like a California liberal tech guy, right?
Yeah.
And I saw him there, and he was freestyling disses about people in the crowd. I was like, dude, this guy's fucking a prodigy. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. Basically, you know, where you were on the Zany stage with your notebook. I'm like, this guy's fucking amazing because he's freestyling this shit real time, right?
Yeah.
So I messaged him. I was like, yo, dude, I'm running a show. What I think would be fun, and I don't really care if anybody takes this, but even you could probably do this. I go, you know what'd be fun is like, I'll be honest, I sucked at hosting, and I sucked at it so much I didn't want to do it. So I was like, you know what'd be fucking great? If each comedian, the rapper does a minute freestyle on the person coming up. Yo, you know, you love him. His name is Ruse. He's about to pop a fuse. He's wearing black shorts, black shirt, and he's got a nice do. Like, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Coming up next, you know?
Yeah.
Just a quick ass fucking freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I hired him I booked him for one of my shows, and I told him, I'm like, it's no pay. Like, I'm just starting out the show. And I told him, do a freestyle about the owner. His name is Frank. He freestyled about Frank, but about a different guy. And you know what I found out? He was doing everything through ChatGPT. Everything. He would write in there, hey, here's this guy, Ruse. He lives in an apartment with a cat and a dog. He has a podcast. Write me a rap about it. And then he would just do that on stage.
Pretending it's a freestyle?
Yeah.
Was he reading it off of something?
Yeah. He was reading it off his phone. And you know what's nuts is like
So he looked around the room and went, man, blue shirt, man, and then when he went up, it's like, oh, he's mentioning everyone.
Yeah.
That is lame as fuck.
It's lame as fuck. I was like, fuck you. I'm never fucking
That's
hiring.
like a circus act.
You know what he fucking told me? Here's what's hilarious is so at the time the show I was running, do you know who Mark Karski is?
No.
He's I don't know if he's doing comedy anymore, but he was a YouTuber, and he was co-running the show with me. And I remember Mark is actually a big YouTuber. He's got a lot of, and what happened is I told this fucking David guy, I go, I don't want you to do this. I can't believe you fucking Chat GPT, dude. You got the wrong guy and you got busted. He's like, yeah, you know what? Next show, I'm going to have you charge $30 a ticket. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? This is a free show and 7 people showed up. No one's going to show up for $30. Why? Where the fuck did you get that idea to charge $30 at the door for a reserved mic, basically, you know? And he goes, well, Mark Karski's here, and he's a well-known YouTuber, so it's going to sell out. I go, dude, I go to mics with Mark every day of the fucking week. At the time, Mark was going to mics every day. And people don't show up. What are you talking? So I kind of like cut him off, you know?
It's just the whole thing is just stupid.
So here's what he does next. He rents out a venue. It was called Laugh Out Loud in Schaumburg. Okay. Rents out a venue for like $600. Charges $30. Nobody showed up.
No way.
Then you know what he does? Like finally that I showed him, like, yo, dude, you're a fucking fake piece of shit who has AI raps. You know what he did next? He started going to the same mic that I went to, Joe's, and he started doing jokes from AI.
Yeah.
I was like, what is wrong? I don't know what happened.
Was he reading the jokes off of a phone?
Yeah.
If he at least memorized them, he might be able to pass.
He would literally, this was his set. Hey, guys, what do you want to hear about today? Let's talk about the wildfires in Canada. Write jokes about the wildfires in Canada.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a fucking teleprompter Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or Trump, whatever the fuck.
What's annoying about it is trying to pretend you're not doing that.
Yeah.
And like, see, the way I presented it, it's a funny bit. For him, it's real. For him, he wants to really get notoriety off of this. Like, I was hanging out with my nephew, and he was showing me and my mom a rap he wrote.
Yeah.
And at first we were like, whoa, this is cool. You wrote this?
Yeah.
And then I started to piece together, like, wait a minute. And then he said, like, I'll write a rap about whatever you want. And so I said, oh, okay. So write a rap about this.
Yeah.
And then he wrote the rap, and then he hands me his phone. And I remember I just pushed, like, the tab button, and then I could literally see the website he generated it on.
Yeah.
And he was trying to tell us the whole time he was writing it, and he's writing these songs. And I just remember saying to him, like, dude, like, I would think it's cooler if you actually wrote it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you're trying to tell me that you wrote something you didn't write. And that's just, again, this is just the beginning of all this. This is the beginning, because it's going to be this weird, like, how would I put it, moral question, this philosophical thing. Like, is that real art or is it not?
No.
I don't think it is. I think prompting.
You know what it is?
There is an art to prompting, and I think there is. I think like odds are what these people are doing is they're not even doing it right, because they're doing generic prompting where they just ask the AI to write a joke. If you want it to be consistent, you would probably have a whole spiel you give the AI every time, like write a joke in this way, make sure to mention this, make sure to lean in this. Like you would have a whole thing, because that's how you get it to give you something like actually good. I guarantee you the people that are using AI this way probably aren't doing that if it's noticeable. Because if you're doing it right, it's not noticeable, and that's what's weird. Or you punch it up. You would be smart, and you would take what the AI wrote, and then you would change it and retone it and make it not sound so generic.
It's like liking a cover band more than the original band, basically. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and again, this is happening way more than you would think. Like,
you know what?
I guarantee you there's so many comics who would never tell you they use AI, but they do. I know for a fact.
You know what's fucking wild? I'm not even joking about this. This actually happened. Like, this is the kind of wild shit that happens to me that, like, I'm like, this is a sitcom, you know? Where
it's how you know you're in a simulation.
Yeah. I went to this mic, and what's funny, I used to be a welder, and when you're a welder, you get the sparks go everywhere and shit. So you get a lot of holy shirts and stuff. Like, I remember in the beginning, people actually thought I was a homeless open mic because I just had holes in my shirts.
Yeah.
But so I used to buy shit. It was called $6shirts.com, and they just had these cool whatever, like franchise movie $6 shirts. What are Tommy Boy or Terminator or Aliens, right? And I remember, because you click on something and then it's your entire algorithm. It's fucking advertising on your Instagram, on your Facebook. Dog, I remember I go to this fucking mic and I see there was a shirt with a stupid one-liner. It was like, why did the frog not call his auto insurance when he got into a car accident? 'Cause he had Toad. And that night that I saw that, there's the comedian seeing it on stage. And I'm just like, dude, I showed it to like this was a person that's known to steal. And I was like, he's like, dude, they're not going to get famous anyways. So just let them, they hate themselves more than you ever will. Like when you get to that point,
That's a good way to look at it.
So it's like,
it's a very good way to look at it. Unless they have popularity, that's when it's unacceptable. But if they're just going nowhere, there's really no point. And just leave it alone. Yeah. Like if they're not getting booked, like if they're just an open mic comic, just not even getting booked, what are you gonna do? Like pursuing them?
Yeah.
I just think, just in comedy drama in general, I think a lot of it just boils down to what's actually going to come of this. Probably nothing. Nothing's actually going to happen. So you have to be at a certain scale for things to even matter. I feel like
So to call back what we were talking about like inclusivity.
Yeah.
Working with Bewey at Wild Dogs, it gave me a whole refreshing mind on diversity. Because I used to be that guy where I was like, I book on, I like things on merit. Fuck diversity. But it's really about, here's how it is. You can book by merit, but what you need to prioritize is the result. And if you prioritize, if you book by diversity and the result is as funny as the other one, then you need, you know what, like here's what I would say is like, so there's two things I learned. First thing it's like, I don't want to be the guy that puts on a show that's like, oh, remember when we went to this restaurant and that all white guy lineup? Like, right. Then it's not even that it's bad or that it excludes people. It's like, you're going to be known, oh, that was a really good show. This guy only puts white guy lineup shows together.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to give everybody in the audience a voice, and people want to fucking hear about other people's voices. So what does that mean? See, here's what's funny is like a lot of right-leaning people would be like, oh, you just put a black person on this because they're black. It's like, if you run a funny show, I'm going to put a black person on there, but I'm going to put the best, funniest black person on there.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you make it, like that's the part that's racist, is you saying because they're not going to be funny. No, we're putting the fucking...
Well, it's both because I mean, they're right in the sense that like that's always been an idea of a token black, of a token this, of a token that. Like you're just introducing that just to represent it. But I think if you are giving the best to the best, if you're making the best show, like in my mind, it should just happen naturally. Ideally, that's what happens. Ideally, you just see talent and you just pick talent, and that also happens to be, oh, this one's a woman.
Yeah.
This person's fucking Polish. This person's fucking Russian. This person's fucking Ukrainian. This person's fucking Chinese.
Yeah.
This is awesome. It's like a little melting pot. That would be the perfect ideal world.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I don't like is, I just think it's a dangerous line of thinking because I'll see people
to force the inclusion.
Yeah, and I see people all the time who think they have to do that. And it's like, when you're thinking like that, then you're right. Of course you have to do that.
Yeah.
But that's because you chose that. So I think it's walking that line, because I think you're right. I think inclusion is a great thing, and I think there's funny people in every single group. But you shouldn't only think that way. It should happen naturally, right?
It does happen naturally.
It should be like, oh, I have this funny friend of this persuasion because I do. Not because I was looking for a fucking funny Indian. If you're out there looking for a funny Indian to start booking on my shows, you might be the racist one. If you're looking for the single funny Indian and you can't find him, you're probably the racist.
Yeah.
Like, also, you should just know a funny Indian. It just happened.
Also, what if just crazy me thinking of this? What if you had a fucking showcase that has themes where guess what? This month it's Indian month, and we have an entire lineup of Indian people who can relate to Indians in the audience, and that's where. And then next month it's all fucking rich white people, whatever, you know. And then next month it's strictly Mexicans, not Puerto Rican. You know, like
that'd be kind of cool.
Like it would be cool.
Yeah,
it's like
especially in a city like this, you could pull it off.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like people, like it would be a cool, I guess you would say, theme. But the point that I was getting at is like it's a great thing to think about as other comedians too, is like when people get paranoid of like, why the fuck didn't I get booked? It's like, because maybe there was too many white guys on the lineup.
Right.
You know, like it doesn't have anything to do with your performance, with your clip, with the quality of your clip. It's literally that you didn't fit in like, you know, what's a funny joke that I tell? I have a buddy of mine, he was doing a fundraiser for like battered women. It was like domestic violence, you know? And I went to go support him, and he was like, hey, do you want to perform on this? I'm like, dude, I look like I'm about to give a confession here. I don't think it would be a good idea if I was on this, because that lineup is like this type of comedy for this type of, you know, like
I can imagine.
And it actually, I did a little bit where I was like, you know, guys, I look like I shouldn't be here, you know, like I'm about to get pelted with tomatoes, and it made them laugh. But it was like, it's got to go with that. That's, people got to quit fucking. You know what? I just made a video on this about, and this is the whole thing about wild philosophy. I just made a video about watered down narcissism. And what I'm talking about is like, because some of us were raised by like boomer parents, I do think narcissism was a thing in the boomer generation. I do think it was a thing where and when it's passed down, what people don't realize, when you make shit about you, when you take things personally, I think that's a little narcissistic. You know, when you go, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I used to be like, I was like, you know what? I hung out with this crew of comedians. Then I got sick for a week and they forgot about me. They don't fucking invite me to anything. They don't, you know, I see all these people at this party that I know, all of them, but somehow it didn't get to me. And then you talk to them and they're like, Phil, you're a fucking stepdad. You're a dad in the suburbs. We wouldn't want to be rejected by you saying no. Don't you have shit to do with your family? Why would we? Of course we would invite you, but we wouldn't think you'd be interested, you know? People make shit about themselves, and when you do that, it's kind of like the whole victim thing. It's kind of a little bit, it's narcissism.
And most of the time it's not about you.
Yeah.
Most of the time it just wasn't. Yeah. No one gives a fuck about you as much as you do. Like, no one places as much value in you as much as you do. Yeah. Most of the time, they weren't even really thinking about you, like you said. You were kind of an afterthought. Yeah. And that was more the case than, oh, let's fucking so-and-so, fuck him. Yeah. No one cares that much. No one really. That's like the ultimate life lesson I've gotten, is no one really cares that much. People will act like they care, and people will say they care, but if you start asking questions and you try to get to the bottom of things, most people don't really think that deeply into most things. They just kind of have an opinion. They don't actually care that much about things, because how do you? It's stressful to care. Yeah. Most people just don't. And it's good on them. I'm actually glad they don't care, because if we all cared about everything, it would be chaos 24/7. You have, and that's the thing. It's how much do I care about? How much do I actually invest my time in and think about? And that's also what makes people so interesting, is you can care so much about some particular thing and hyper focus on it.
Well, that's why I go back to, like, I got these 80 people that I know got my back. Fuck everybody else.
I think, there's a wisdom to that for sure. You know? And I think building that group of 80 people too, like not trying to do everything yourself and not have fucking friends, like people do that, and I think they're just killing themselves slowly.
See,
you know?
That's the other thing about, like, when I was talking about, like, that holy trinity of stupid fucking religions, like, the other thing that Christianity, Judaism, Islam bred was everything is influenced by guilt. So, like, people who say, why do people say, of course I care, or hashtag whatever, I stand with this, you know? A lot of it's driven by guilt.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's driven by guilt because this religion told you, like, if you don't do this, shame on you. Guilt is the same thing as, like, panic. It's never, like, benefited anybody.
Right.
You know, like, it never... How much time are you wasting in life when you could be doing something, perfecting a hobby, when you're being driven by like guilt or anxiety.
Yeah, it's
you know?
something where you can have the feeling like the trigger is real, but the reaction is the choice. You're choosing to feel guilty when instead you could choose to see it as growth. You could see the change. You could see, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and now I won't do that ever again. That should be the proper forward-looking reaction, not constant dwelling on something. I think that's what takes you out of it and makes you loop the shit and do it over again and just live in this hell. Because you're thinking about it 21st. You can't let go. You can't just move on. You know?
Yeah.
Guilt will fuck you up.
Like, you know what's funny about that? Like, you want to hear the most narcissistic quote, or like narcissistic / boomer.
All right.
Is like, when my mom was dying, I remember I was talking to my therapist. I'm like, he's like, you know, it's going to be hard because when some people die, if it's your abuser, sometimes it's even harder to let go of that trauma because it's like you're pulling that cancer out of you and now you don't know what to do. Like you have a fresh breath. And I go, so what do I do? He goes, well, you got to cover your bases. He goes, first, the first base is like, because she had ALS. She was like on her way out. It's like the first base is like forgiveness. The second base, like your forgiveness of them. The second base is like redemption, is like talking to them. And then the last base is like giving them a chance to apologize. And it was like the forgiveness part, it was like, whatever. Moving on, whatever the fuck. She did awful shit. I don't give a fuck. The second base was like, I want to take you and try and help you with your mental illness, with your depression, with your narcissism. Didn't want help. And the last one, I was like, yo, Ma, you know, I remember you locking in my room for 8 hours a day to where I had to crap myself. I remember you telling people that I got epilepsy for attention. Like, do you want to apologize for that? And like the most boomer quote, she goes, how about 150 grand in the bank for you when I die as an apology? And I'm like, or you could just say sorry. And she's like, how about the 150 grand? And I go, well, then if it's an apology, then you can transfer it now. Why do I got to wait till you're dead? Over my dead body. I was like, that's the most selfish. Like, it's so, how do I put it? It's so foolishly selfish to the grave.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's like M. Night Shyamalan level of dark. You're such a dark human being. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and also you gotta say sorry.
Yeah.
That's all you really wanted to say.
Yeah.
But in her mind, I am saying sorry by providing for you.
Yeah. Like, how's that for a fucking apology? It's like when Nazis kill themselves with cyanide because they're like, I won't die by the hands of anybody but my own.
Falling on your sword and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking. You know what I wanted to mention before we leave is like, you know what's funny to me that I wanted to talk about is like, so I think it's hilarious about the concept of failure because so many people, especially as a comedian, probably as a rapper, like in the comments will be like, failed rapper, failed comedian, whatever, you know? And I think that's so funny about what people think is a failure because the truth is like, you're not a failure unless you like literally die at that moment. Because if you keep going, then you're not a fucking failure. That's why to me, like, I'll get people who like don't like my jokes online and they'll try and go after you telling you like you're a failed comedian. It's like, dude, do you see the rest of the followers? Do you see the views? Do you see where I'm getting booked at? Is that failed? Like, if I was failed, I would have. Also, the point is that if you keep trying, it's not a failure. Like, my favorite quote of mine is that doing comedy is asking your biggest crush out every single night and them turning you down every single night. That's what bombing is. But the great thing is, if you actually ask your crush out every single night, you'd be stalking. So the lucky thing about comedy is you get to do it over and over again. But you just got to be able to deal with that feeling. And
eventually it's socially acceptable for you to do it.
Yeah.
Eventually people come around.
It's basically like being in a marriage this long.
Yeah.
You know, it's like nothing makes her happy. Flowers, vacation, just keep doing it. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sorry I'm going this
long.
No,
I think failure is a concept in your mind. And I don't think it actually really even exists. I don't think there is a failure. And I think looking at yourself Like, it's kind of like why there's not a bad trip unless you thought it was a bad trip, right? Say you have a particularly bad experience, not even on drugs, just in life. It's all about perspective. So how are you going to take that experience and integrate it and understand it? It's either a bad experience or it's something, maybe a learning experience. Maybe that was bad for a reason, and maybe there's something you can get from it. Because otherwise, what the fuck was it? It was nothing. Yeah. It means nothing. It mean nothing if you choose for it to mean nothing. That's the other part of it.
That's what that word failure is learning experience. That's literally what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think like acknowledging failure and seeing it and learning to accept it is part of growth, and it's part of understanding what it is to be human even. I mean, understanding you're part of a greater story, and the story is never ending. The story is constantly expanding upon itself until it just does randomly end. But that's never guaranteed. You never know what's going to happen, so you just keep allowing that story to build. It never ended. And, I think a problem a lot of people have is they think in their mind, they place an ending. They're like, oh, I failed. This is the end. Or the future. This is the end. Once I'm doing X, I've succeeded. And that's all the wrong line of thinking, because you're putting all this fake shit as like the barometer of success and the barometer of failure. None of that's real. Where you are right now is real, and how you react to that is real. And you should aim upwards. But what you define as success and failure is entirely, there's no way it's not based on you. It's based on what you have learned to think of as failure. And I think
you know why I think that is, because I think, once again, coming back to like Western philosophy, I think so where those religions spread, right? Like Middle East up to Europe, west to fucking the Americas, right? People in that area, we believe in the concept of permanence, which is bullshit. Nothing is permanent except permanent markers. But like nothing is permanent. And the reason why Americans specifically are like, well, most of the world now affected by that is because of movies. Movies give the like
or music too. I mean, music used to be something that existed in the moment, and you had to be there. Yeah. Now it's recorded, and you can listen to it, and it's a record.
But what I'm getting at is like, for example, like you see in like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Like the example I give is like, for example, like you think of Forrest Gump, right? And people are like, oh my God, that's such a happy ending. Like, what is the movie? Oh, it's this mentally challenged person who had this amazing luck and met all these wonderful people, and then it ended up great. It's like, you know how I can ruin that? Because there's a happy ending. What if I suddenly got millions of dollars out of nowhere, could rehire Tom Hanks for a sequel, and I was like, guess what? Forrest Gump, he was actually a sociopath who pretended he was mentally challenged. Yeah. And he manipulated all these people.
Yeah.
Suddenly that shatters that whole fucking story, because that's what it is like that permanence doesn't, it ain't permanent until you die, basically.
Yeah, right.
Yes, right. You can keep trying. So I don't know. I just want to talk about it because it's like, I don't know. You think about like where you get booked or what you do in life, and it's like, you just got to be able to learn how to do. It's funny.
You said stepping stones earlier. I think that's a good way to look at all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's all a stepping stone towards something else.
It's dealing with rejection. Like, what's funny? This is kind of like, it's sad, but I do say it in my bit where like being raised in a house where my dad used to beat the shit out of me. I was like, whenever I get in a fight with a person, they'd be like, you ready to get your ass kicked? I'd be like, actually, yeah. I could take a beating. I am. Are you ready to get arrested? Let's do this. All right, go now. Like, because I actually am able to get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I've walked away from that, I've gotten my ass kicked a bunch of times,
Yeah. So professional kick-asser. I don't know what you'd call the kick-assy. I'm a professional ass-kicky.
Yeah. That'll be my first special, the professional kick-assy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm glad you had me on here. I don't know.
Thanks for coming by, dude. I mean, I didn't expect it to be 3.5 hours, but here we are. That's how it always goes. I'm sure. You do podcasts. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't think you scheme out the long ones. They just happen, right? That's how it tends to go. Because it's always fun to me to see how that plays out. Emily Ogle holds the record for my longest episode.
Yeah.
The first time we did 3 hours and 50 minutes, that was the record then.
Yeah.
And then Jason Melton beat her, not on purpose, but I think he might have been trying. He did 4 hours and about 5 minutes, 4 hours, 10 minutes. And then she came back on. The whole time she was saying, I'm not going to do another 4 hours. I'm not. I'm like, okay, fine. We won't do that.
Yeah.
4 hours and 35 minutes. She broke the record. She's number one again. Yeah. So I just, and I never plan it because honestly, that's a big fucking engagement. Jason Melton was telling me, oh, we want to break the record. How much time am I going to need? I was like, dude, I can't guarantee you a 5-hour podcast. I just can't do that. You know what I mean? That's a big fucking commitment. Yeah. If it happens, that's great. But saying beforehand, we're going to do 5 hours. Oh my God.
You better chat GPT the outline.
Right. Let's actually do some fucking topics then. Let's plan this one out because holy shit, 5 hours? Yeah. At a certain point, we're just fucking riffing. We're creating something out of nothing. Yeah. I mean, I think that's how podcasts should be too. They should happen naturally. You shouldn't know. Yeah. I just don't like when they're too short. That's what bothers me. And it's just a little pet peeve because it's kind of hard to get into a flow with things if you're only talking to somebody for 30, 40 minutes. What I tend to do too, I don't know if you do this, is usually when they arrive, we hang out for a minute or two before I just turn the camera on. It's not like I walk you in and we sit down and go. Yeah. And I think there's something to that. So when people only have like 40 minutes, it's like, oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude, okay. And I'm worried, the more Ruse goes Hollywood, the more I'm going to have to do that and just deal with that.
Yeah.
Drag him into my room real quick. Not let the dog sit all over them and lick their face. I don't know. I don't know how much I can get away with, What if it's like fucking Jerry Seinfeld in this room? What will he let me do? Jerry, how do you feel about Gaza? Yeah. Jerry, tell me about your political opinions. It's always funny to me that people even ask comedians about politics. If they don't talk about it, why are you even asking them? Like, why do you want to know? Did you see Bill Burr responding to a reporter asking him about politics?
I think so, yeah.
It was such a good response.
I think the three of us are on the same page.
Yeah.
That the bulk of people are in the middle, like 70%.
Yep.
And everybody else is making it their hobby.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand why it made it, like that's what I mean is, like, I guess what I was getting back to, like, even my, like my best friend's dad, it was like, he would go canoeing. He would go run marathons. He would fucking build models. And it's like every boomer now, it's like glued to Fox or CNN, you know? It's like, did you hear about this? Bro, it's a reality. It's Flava Flav.
It's professional wrestling.
For boomers.
It's the same. It's the exact same. There's heels, there's faces, there's a narrative, there's literally, I mean, the announcers can only say so much.
Yeah.
There's a guy in the announcer's ears telling them what they can and cannot say. It's professional wrestling. It's the exact same thing. And once you understand that, what's crazy is the alternative media that you'll find is a lot of that is also professional wrestling. And so to find actual news sources becomes an impossibility. That's what I was kind of getting at earlier. If you actually pay attention, it's so hard to figure out what's bullshit and what's not. Because so much shit is like, even these people who are claiming to be counter narrative and counter culture, they're not. They have other things that are driving them, and that's not really what they are. And these people who you think are on your side are just as fucking see-through as everybody else. You just identify with them, and it's learning, like, no role models is kind of something I try to live by. Like, no one's perfect. I am just as imperfect as everybody else. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Who is your biggest role model?
In life?
Yeah. That let you down.
That let me down?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's a tough question.
Like where that transformed you into no role models.
I don't think anybody let me down. I think I just understand that people are flawed. I think I figured out that people don't generally know what they're talking about. Most people just are quick to think a binary thing and not try to see both sides of anything. And most of the people who claim they're doing that aren't doing that. And they've just convinced themselves that they're doing that. Most people don't think that deeply about shit. It's like what I was saying earlier. Yeah. So, like, with any celebrity, with anything, I just don't fucking glorify people. I just think of it as, like I still have that thing in my monkey brain that's like, ooh, famous person. But at the same time, it's like, if I was sitting in front of a famous person, I would just treat them like anybody else because that's what you do. Yeah. People are just fucking people. And you learn that through talking to people.
Well, it's goofy that people didn't realize, like, I didn't know what a podcast was till like 2010, and it was honestly, this is how I found out. Somebody told me bro, you're like, I was just bitching at work at lunch. He's like, you're like the Joey Diaz of fucking of this job, and I was like, are you? Is that fighting words, bro? Are you fucking talking shit about? I didn't know who Joey Diaz, and then I looked it up. I was like, oh, I guess I am. But the point is that like, is it coincidental that the moment like podcasts kicked off, every media outlet was like, dude, outrage is monetizing.
Right.
It's capitalizing on outrage. Like if you ever watch, it's like, okay, these motherfuckers stormed a government building. Okay, people do that. They're crazy. These people fucking protested this shit and stood in the middle of a highway. Okay, that's breaking news. Like,
it's like, but you think it's like the pendulum swinging. It's that
Yeah.
same thing where it's
like,
going to come back around, and the podcasts are going to take over that space because people want to hear conversations about that stuff.
Well, I think media outlets panicked that podcasts were going to take over, so they chose outrage. Like no longer, like before that, you'd get on the news, it'd be like, this cat got saved from a fucking tree by a fireman, and now it's like, you know, trans black pedophile got shot in the head and got beat to, and then he spray painted a swastika on the wall. Like, it's got to be every extreme. It's like, dude, this is a cartoon, you know?
Right.
Like you know what I think? That's what I was trying to write a bit about how, like, I want Trump's or the Nazis merch guy, because they make a fucking killing. There's a Trump everything. There's a Nazi there's a cup. There's a knife. There's probably fucking underwear. Yeah. There's you know, like, they make a killing off merch. They don't got to do shit. He could just sit back, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I wish I could remember the name of the lead propagandist in Nazi Germany. There's some guy who was like the pioneer of the art, whatever they were doing with that propaganda. He was the guy behind it. But yeah, honestly, I'd want to pick his mind for a minute. Like, tell me, what do you think about like mass psychology? Like, how do you come up with your art? Because propagandists are the number one people you want to ask about merch. Actually, now that I think about it, they're the ones who would know. You know what's funny?
I think I heard that's why the band Kiss. Yeah. That's why they did what they did with all their merch, is because it was a slap in the face to Nazis, because they're all Jewish, and then they got the two S's in Kiss.
Ah, no shit.
And that's why they made, there's a Kiss everything. There's a fucking Kiss coffin. There's a Kiss car.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
It's like repurposing.
It's karma, yeah.
The whole thing, yeah. Wow. Well, that's beautiful. Shout out Kiss. Shout out fucking Ozzy, who just died before we recorded this. Shout out everybody. Shout out the kids at home watching who tie into this final segment. What we do at the very end. 1, advice for the children watching. Give them actionable advice they can use, something they can take into their life and apply it and become better people and change their life maybe a little bit with the advice that you give them, because you've proven you're such a wise gentleman. And 2nd, tell them the social medias where people can find you. This podcast comes out about a month from now, but if there's anything coming up you can share with the people, now is your chance to tell them about all the things available involving this wild man who just sat with me.
I love
the floor
this
is yours.
I love this build, dude. That was great, man.
Thank you.
Advice: always be your true, authentic, weird self. Always do that. That's the advice. Be proud to be an individual.
Let your freak flag fly.
Yeah. As far as socials, Wild Phil Lisiecki on Insta. I'm sure if you just
spell that for him.
Wild Phil, Lisiecki. But if you look up just Wild Phil, it usually pops up first. So there's Wild Phil's Osophy on the podcast. Also, we do Wild Dogs comedy out in South Elgin. If you're looking for some good suburban shows, dude, I tell people to go just for the hot dogs. Like, you know Kuma's Corner?
No.
You know what that is?
No.
Kuma's Corner is like a heavy metal burger joint in Chicago. They like won awards for like the best burgers. This is like the Kuma's Corner of hot dogs. They have the best fucking they make their own sausage. My Polish boner is up for that. I mean, they like it's really good. And
so you guys come by and you prove him right or wrong.
Yeah.
If you don't like the sausage, you can tell him to his face. You're a fucking liar.
You're
the propagandist. I don't like this hot dog.
Yeah.
You got me here on hot dogs. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
If they're not the best hot dogs of your life, I want you to protest.
Yeah.
I hope no one does that to you. But if they did, I started it. How about that?
Yeah. Sounds good, man.
I want you to take a picture and send it to me if anybody protests the hot dogs.
For sure.
I feel like I started a movement or something.
Yeah.
But really, that's a big claim, man. Best hot dogs of all suburbs, of all the Chicago suburbs. Of all the Chicago suburbs, our hot dogs are tremendous.
Even the city. I used to go to, Gene and Jude's?
On
Grand and Des Plaines River Road?
No.
That was my favorite hot dog place. It's better. I think it's better than that.
Okay.
I know.
All right, man.
We'll see.
I want to believe you.
Check out my wieners.
He's going to whip his wiener out.
Yeah.
And you're going to see it. And he didn't do that here today, but maybe next time on Rose Radio. Clocking out. Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calm and collect. It's apparent his caricature is lost in the mess. It's hysterical, the picture that